Sari Yehobo Lahahu Uratakana Usarati Ukupila kiwe na Biblia How Moshapa Shapamutie How Musukaka
Beloved, Beloved, can you hear me? Beloved, can you hear me?
No. Sari unsiwari out. Sari Yehobo Lahahu Uratakana Usarati Ukupila kiwe na Biblia How Moshapa Shapamutie How Musukaka Sukamutie How Abona Buri Silase Kimula tu Mahodimo So say Kimula tu No. Sari unsiwari out. Siwari Isindikele. Whoa. Siwari out. Massage. The breakfast in bed. Moshapekati massage. So say Kimula tuve. The world is a better place where a woman is happy. Yeah. It's indicated. Yeah.
All right, folks. Yes, that is about that time. Yes, it's about that time. 5 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock in Dominica and the region in which we live. The Civic Vibes program is here. And yes, we are starting this program in a very, very big way today. Today being the 13th day of July 2025, I can tell you a very big program awaits all our listeners, viewers this evening in a very special way. So all of you who already glued, thank you very much for your eyes and ears each and every time. It's already 7 minutes past 6 o'clock. I'm just getting you ready, getting you in that mood for a very candid conversation to come. We are in our first segment. We're going to talk to a very, very important and very inspiring young lady from Botswana, Africa. Yes, you heard me right, from Botswana, Africa. And so, yes, hence our African music in the background. For now, I'll just call her Una. Yes, Una. A very interesting story she's about to tell us. So yes, all of you who are glued right now, you will not move a muscle when she starts. I heard part of that story sometime back, 5 years back, thereabout. And I promised our Dominican people to give you or bring you that story as well. But through the lips of none other than Ona herself. So yes, she's here with us this evening via social media. And so we at Civic Vibes and all of you glued across the globe at this time, thank you very much. And we want to thank her for making time with us this evening. Guess the time in Botswana. She's 6 hours ahead of us. And so she's making that special sacrifice indeed. It's midnight, after midnight in Botswana. And so we must appreciate that sacrifice from Ona indeed. So that's the first segment, folks. It's entitled Living Life to the Fullest in Spite of the Many, Many Challenges. Motivational speaker, an advocate, a philanthropist, an HIV activist. Yes, you heard me right, an HIV activist. You're gonna hear her story indeed. A very chilling one, but a very inspiring one, motivating one of that. So please keep it locked to the spot that you got. To all, yes, I repeat, all our IVLP friends from across the globe, the 24 of you I met just about 2019, 2020. I know you guys are glued as well, so thank you very, very much. Ona was one of those I met in 2019 on this very, very special program in the United States of America. Our second segment will be hearing from Brother Jeff Bellot and Mr. Ivan Nicholas. A reunion activity that was just conducted in the Scott's Head area in Dominica. And so they'll be recapping, they'll be telling us all what was done and what is to come. We read the reunion in Scott's Head, Gallia, Sufri, and environs in years to come. So stay tuned, folks, stay tuned. A very packed, a very big program awaits us all this evening. Without saying much more, let me move across now to my favorite brother on a Sunday afternoon, Brother Alvin Thomas. Good afternoon to you, sir, and how are you?
Yes, good afternoon, Lofty. Good afternoon, my friend. Good to see you again another Sunday afternoon. You look very bright and dandy, as they say.
Well, once my friend Ona is here, she's a very bright and bubbly person.
And I see you wearing pink. They say only real men wear pink, you know, only real men wear pink.
I had to represent this afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for noticing, though.
Well, it's good to be back. It's good to be back for another engaging evening of conversation, I must say. I know, like you and like all our many folks who have already logged in, look forward to that. It's one of those opportunities where we can share ideas, have some, you know, frank discussions, different point of view. We don't always agree on everything. And at the end of the day, to formulate some action. I think that's the purpose of our Civic Vibes program every Sunday. We talk about the issues, we ventilate what the issues are, and at the end of the day, we recommend ourselves and our guests some ideas and some action to move forward. So clearly, our first guest from Botswana, Ona, as you say, is the shortest version of her name. I'm sure we'll be able to share some call to action with us. But as we normally do, Lofty, before we get into the thick of things, I just want to extend my condolences to the family of Norma Cyril. Norma is the sister of NC. Norma and the NC Cyril, Calypsonian, we know.
Okay.
Morris Cyril. Morris was a well-renowned journalist, person in the media for many years. Norma passed this past week there on, I think it was Wednesday. But Norma was someone who gave her whole life to service to her country. She worked for 44 years, Lofty, at the social center. And we know what the work of the social center entails.
Yes,
working
indeed.
with children, working with the unfortunate. And she gave 44 years of her life and only retired last year succumbed to cancer and didn't make it through. Norma was also very much involved in the Dominica JCs. I remember as a young man when I joined the movement, the organization, Norma was then I think she came in as the treasurer, very meticulous on accountability, transparency of funds. Norma was involved in that. And she was also involved, I must say, on the political rim. I know she served on the executive committee of the Dominica Freedom Party and remained a very stalwart member of that party, notwithstanding the ups and downs of the party. So Norma has really given her life to Dominica, her service to Dominica. And therefore, I just want to say to her daughter Nadine and her son Nathaniel, brother Morris and Norman, and all our extended families, on behalf of Civic Vibes, to extend our condolences and to let them know that we will keep them in our prayers and that her mom has really walked a good walk and they should be all happy and pleased about that.
All right, indeed. Thank you, Brother Alvin Thomas, indeed. And yes, so from all of us here on the live feed, we want to express Alvin's sentiments as well. Death is never a good time. As a matter of fact, it's an enemy. And so to all of those of you who are grieving at this time because of the passing of a loved one, we at Civic Vibes, we empathize and sympathize with you in a very, very big way. So yes, folks, just in case you're tuning in at this time, it is 14 minutes past 6 o'clock already. We're going to have, for the first segment, talking with a young lady from Botswana, Africa, where she's going to tell us her story, as it were. She is a young lady living as we speak with that very dreaded virus, the HIV virus. So folks like Mali Ostri, Patricia Fontaine, Brother Dorival Drygo, Ivenia, Joseph, Veronica Pascal, Mildred Charles, Youtheli Vidal, Carol Ann Ford, yes, Rosa Robinson, Brother Peter Carbon, Guvelma Hambrin, you call yourself. Good evening to you guys in a very, very special way. Justina Ferdinand, Magdalene Augustine, Glenda, you have been missing for some time. Lavi Duberton, good evening to you. Carol, my dear friend as well, Bruni, good evening to you in a very special way. And all of you locked into the live feed at this time.
Morning. Morning, good evening, morning.
The world is a better place, as this song says, when a woman is happy. And so, yes, we have happy women here as well with us, including our guests. Just before I ask our guests to say something to us in terms of introducing herself, let me just read a short write-up on her. We call it a bio. There's much more to her, but just in short so that you can get a better understanding of just who will be talking to us in just a while. So again, her name is a very long name, which she will pronounce for us in just a bit, but for short, I'm gonna just call her Ona. So yes, it reads here, Ona is a woman positively living with HIV, an HIV activist, youth advocate, a philanthropist, a volunteer at heart, an inspirational speaker. Her activism started after she went public with her HIV status in 2015. She founded an organization called Positive Moments. She has an associate degree in public relations at the University of Limcock Wing. She is passionate about improving, empowering, and educating people who are affected or infected with the HIV virus. She encourages behavioral change and a healthy lifestyle. It continues here by saying, she came up with a campaign such as Boloto Must Fall, and wraps it with all, treat all. Yes, she can. Happy feet, happy kids, normalizing HIV in the era of COVID-19. She serves on 2 advisory boards. These boards are Botswana University of Pennsylvania and one on the University of California. She also serves on the Botswana Network of People Living with HIV. She has been nominated by the American Embassy as PEPFAR, PEPFAR hero, that is, and also as an IVLP, that is the International Visitors Leadership Program. She was selected in 2019. And so folks, with just that, there's much more. I now want to introduce to our space at this time, that is the Civic Vibe space, Miss Ona. Miss Ona, good evening to you. I want to say to you from our end, but good morning to you in a very special way to you in Botswana at this time.
Morning, how are you? I'm fine.
Hi, special morning to you, Una. Alvin is here, my co-host. I guess you guys want to just, sort of just break the ice before we move across.
Yeah, she looks wide awake, man, Lofty. You said what time is it at your end? 6 o'clock?
No, it's after midnight.
After midnight.
It's after midnight. I was actually sleeping.
Oh, so you had an early nap. Okay. So you had a pep nap. So that's why you looked so refreshed. How are you doing? Good to see you.
I'm good. All is well.
Good.
Despite the winter.
Oh, it's winter now on that side of
yes,
okay.
Yes.
Okay. When does your winter start and ends?
It started around April and it's about to end this July or August.
July, August, it ends.
That's when we'll start spring.
Okay, and then you move to spring.
Yes.
So summer would kick in. When would summer kick in? I need to know so you're not making a trip. I don't want to come here for winter. I live in the US, so I want to come for summer.
Yeah, you should come from September to March.
Oh, September to March. Okay.
Because with us, whether it's spring or summer, there's not much of difference.
Okay.
It's very hot anyway. So from September to March, so those are the hot days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're having some hot weather here in the US as well. Today, as a matter of fact, in Atlanta, where I am, we're clocking in at about 95 degrees. And it's all over the US. So that's another issue that we're all confronting with. They call it, it's called climate change, which I believe it is. So the weather pattern is really different. I'm sure the same with Lofty in Dominica. I understand they've had some really hot days in Dominica as well. So it's all over. Yeah, but it's good to see you. I'm looking forward to hear your story. I understand you have a very interesting story. So I'm excited and intrigued to hear it. I'll be doing a lot of listening and ask a few questions there and then, but we are happy to have you as our guest on Civic Vibes. So welcome on board. It's a pleasure to meet you and to have that conversation with you.
Thank you so much for this invitation, Lofty.
Indeed.
I didn't expect it.
Well, with me, always expect the unexpected, Una.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, but Ona, just before I ask you any question, let me just give the viewing public and listening public an idea just how I came to know you. It was in 2019, December, they're about to be precise, when yours truly and 23 other aspiring leaders, we were basically selected from the US embassies across the globe standpoint as to we should attend some leadership training program in the United States. We went across four cities in the United States: Washington, D.C., New Orleans, San Antonio, and another one, which slipped me now.
I was in New Orleans.
Yes, in New Orleans. And so that is how basically, folks, I got to know this young lady we are speaking with this evening. And what that really caught my attention with her when I met her then is that on the very first day when we came to introduce ourselves formally with each other and the people who were facilitating us there. Her introduction, Ona's introduction, it really struck me. It took me off guard, as it were. And so from since then, I was very much intrigued with her story. And I promised her at the back then. A matter of fact, I even recorded some of her story back then to reveal to us in Dominica, but I haven't gotten that chance. So it isn't better today to hear her in the flesh, hear her for herself. She basically gave a very chilling introduction that, as I said before, caught me off guard. And she's here today, a motivator. She was basically the life of the party over there with us. Wherever, we felt down, Ona was there to cheer us up. Wherever things were going awry, Ona was always there. So she's that kind of bubbly person in spite of her many, many challenges, which she'll speak to some of tonight. And so, Ona, without saying much more, again, let me just invite you to Dominica through the social media space, through the region in which I live. I know you're on the African continent. It's very far away, but with social media, with technology, anything and everything is possible. So once again, thank you, Ona, and welcome.
Thank you so much. I remember when all of you were shocked when I said I was a woman positively living with HIV, and everyone was looking at me like, can she actually live? Like, can somebody with HIV can actually look at her? And everyone felt pity. I saw the room was more like I saw everyone's eyes like they had, I don't know, maybe feeling pity for me. I was like, huh? Come on, guys. You know what? Yeah.
So it wasn't me alone, Una. So it wasn't me alone.
Seen everyone in the room like they were shocked.
I know. But Ona, let us go back. Let us go back a little bit. You being selected by the U.S. Embassy in your country to participate in that IVLP program, how did that take place?
I don't know. It just hit me. I didn't even expect it. I just saw an email. I believe that since I have worked ever since I actually went public about my status back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So from then, I have been working on programs that I was funded by U.S. Embassy mostly. So even when in Botswana we decided to introduce Treat All, that was the program that was introduced by U.S. Embassy, whereby by PEPFAR actually, whereby all the people that were living with HIV in Botswana had to start medication despite their CD4 count or whatever. So I had to make sure that I had to start medication as well so that I can be that. Since everyone already was looking up to me, and I needed to live as an example. So then I believe that after the program that I was doing was Have It All, and I was promoting medication, ARVs. I was into clinics. I was working in clinics with with my employees. They were in different clinics. Uh, I was working with actually HIV positive ones, and they were helping out people to understand this new treat all program that went very well. I believe because of us, we were at the forefront, ensuring that when people uh, start medication, they should start to adhere. And I will always be on like, oh wow, nice. ARVs taste like jelly tots. So we started calling ARVs jelly tots, even though they're not. But we've seen that, as you can see, if you can look at Botswana achieve what we have really achieved, even though our country have been one of the top three when it comes to HIV epidemic, and now we even with that we have managed to surpass some targets that were set by UNAIDS, and we are really doing pretty good so far. So I believe that
Okay.
after that, that's when they saw my work, They saw my passion, as you've seen me, and that's why I guess I was selected.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you indeed. You spoke about the Botswana being the third in on the African continent is that HIV. Can you give us some numbers there in terms of the people actually living with HIV virus in Botswana as we speak? Just a rough idea.
Yeah, you see, we are only 2 million, right?
2 million.
But we have like around 340,000 people living with HIV.
Okay, so that's a good enough chunk of people.
Yeah, that's a chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a quarter of the population, almost. Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that is what everybody's basically glued and listening to for now. Can you give us a sort of chronological sequence, as it were, how you came about contracting that very dreaded virus, HIV?
Yes, I have always been that girl who is very confident in herself, taking care of herself. And it happened that relationships, how they go. But then it was so unfortunate for me that my partner raped me. And I actually reported him. But then, as you know, how we love our men, and then I just
You say your partner raped you?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And that was the time I didn't know about PEP or PrEP. PEP is the medication that you're given when you are HIV negative to prevent you from being infected to contract the virus. So I didn't actually know about that. Um, yes, I reported him to the police, but then I decided, nah, I can't. My heart just said, I have this good heart that I said, no, let me just let him be. And I tested negative immediately during that ordeal. And I even showed him that, yeah, I tested negative. This is my results. Can I see your results? He started to refuse, even seeing me, or I kept on calling. But then I decided, you know what, let me just uh, let him be. And then I waited for the 3 months period whereby now I just had to see if I'm really HIV positive or not. And then I was at work, and I came with that the testing center. They were testing people at my workplace. So I went with that confidence again, telling people, hey, why are you here? Why don't you test, guys? Let's go. Yo, I didn't know that I was gonna test positive. Yeah, you can see I'm laughing about it right now because back then it was uh when I saw those results, I was like, I didn't know how I was gonna contain myself for the rest of the day when I'm at work, and I didn't want people to see that. Why is this person now all of a sudden uh going to the clinic or whatever? So I contained myself that day, and then I told my friend that, you know what, I tested positive. And she told me that no problem, no baby, I'm here for you and all that. So I went home, and I told my sister I tested positive, like, I don't know. And I narrated the story to the guy, the same guy that I last had, yeah, my guy. So I told him, and then I actually asked him to go and test because he was actually the last person I interacted with. And then he said, oh, okay, I'll go to test. Okay. And then after 2 or 3 days, he just called me and told me, I've been living with HIV, and I'm sorry that I infected you.
So basically, owner, you're saying that he knew he was positive, but still went ahead and infected you.
Yeah. And still, I didn't go ahead to report him because he did it on purpose. And there was a case that was open. So obviously, he was going to, there was proof there. But I just said, okay, no, it's fine. And then he started saying like, why can't we get back together since now you are positive? I said, no, I have to live my life. I have to figure out what how my life is gonna pan out now. And I don't think I need you in my life after what you did to me. And I continued up until there was a time where there were two of my friends who discriminated me, who stigmatized me after I disclosed my status. You know, it still happens even today in our communities whereby you just tell somebody that I'm living with HIV and then somebody doesn't want you. It still happened today, despite all the improvements that have been happening lately. So my two of my friends, they just decided not to talk to me after I disclosed my status, and then I I was devastated. But then after that, I told myself that, you know what, maybe I should do something about this. I don't want to see myself going around like whenever I meet somebody new and then I have to disclose to them, I have to do something. Let me just go public about my status. And I did that on Facebook in 2015. So
Wow.
I just posted on my Facebook, and then I turned my phone off and I slept. In my
Yeah.
mind, I was like, yo,
Okay.
everyone is
You were thinking of the calls and interest that
negative.
that would come your way.
Yeah, but I didn't fear anything because I knew that I have been like I said, like I'd really had uh anything else to worry about.
Mhm.
So I did that, and then when I woke up, when I checked my profile, I was like, yo, everyone was so positive about it. I was like,
Yeah.
huh? What is really happening here? And then they are mostly the people who encouraged me to register an organization,
Okay.
Positive Moments.
Positive
Yes,
moments. Okay, we'll get to positive moments in just a while and the good things that you initiated there and continue to do in that regard. But without getting too detailed or too graphic about it, you told us some of it back then. We have a number of young people listening, a number of people who are, should I say, having relationships and having intimate relationships without due care and attention. And so, can you give us an idea, just how that thing happened? You said your partner at the time raped you.
yes, yes. He actually did that. We 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 were home, and we hadn't had any intercourse at all. So I was ready because we were dating for like 3 months already. So I thought to myself, like, nah, anytime when he wants us to go there, I'm ready. But then that night, he just, when you're with your person and then you start to be naughty about everything, and then you're like, oh, okay, no, okay, now the time is now. But then I saw him aggressive. I told him I want to go get the condoms. And then he became so aggressive that he pushed me. And then I screamed, and I told him, no, you can't do that. I have to get the condoms. He pushed me on the sofa. I screamed. I was alone in the yard. So my mom was not there, or my uncle, and yeah, we were just two in the house. And
Mhm,
then I started crying as he did his deed.
mhm.
And then after that, I cried the whole night. And then in the morning, I actually went to the clinic first. From the clinic, that's when after that I went to the police. I felt that no, this person, he didn't do right by me. He actually forced himself on me. Yeah,
Wow, wow, wow. As we speak, where is that man now? As we speak,
I don't know.
oh, you
I
know.
don't know. I just decided to cut ties back then, and I didn't want to look back.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So you felt quite devastated to the point of you went to the clinic the morning and you reported him. But what did the police do about that matter? Anything?
No, like when you come to report at the police, whatever you are reporting, it's
Mhm.
all up to you who is reporting to say, I want to go on with this case. Or you
Oh,
can say, yes,
okay.
there are some cases that they can say, no, that one you can't. But with this one, I went there, he was caught there, and then they talked to him, they talked to me, and as they were talking to me, you know, I they started to write the docket on everything, and I knew that I was serious about it. But after writing everything, and now it's my statement, and it's there, and now we have to say, now we have to continue with the case. Are
Okay.
you going to do this or what? Then I said, no, let me just leave it.
Not realizing at the time he infected
Yes.
you positively.
I was actually negative. I tested negative
Okay.
that day, and I
Wow.
knew that I was negative because I knew, I'm one person, of a one partner moment, or like I don't do multiple partners, so I actually knew that I was negative. Even when I tested on that day, I was still negative, and even after 3 months, I didn't meet anyone, any guy, or had any, because I really wanted to see how it's going to pan out. And I didn't want to change anything like that, maybe somebody can come into my life again, you know, and then I can say it's him while it's not him. So I was just very careful about it, to wait for the 3 months to pass and then test again.
Wow. Do you have any kids? Do you have any children?
Yes, my son is 25 years.
Wow. Very a big man now.
Yeah, he's a chef.
Oh, he's a chef. Wow. That's nice. That's lovely. Wow.
Yes.
So how are you keeping now? How is everything, how are you holding up?
There's nothing like how am I holding up? It's life as usual. Once you get diagnosed with HIV, you start to ask yourself where you gonna go, how you gonna pen out, how you gonna navigate through your life, whether relationship, family, friends, and everyone. And for me, it has always been normal. It's normal. The only difference is that I take a pill every day.
Wow. So in terms of the medication, you have to take that pill every day.
Yes.
How expensive is that medication? May I ask?
I don't know. It's free.
Oh, it's free. Okay. Okay. That's good. That's
Yes.
good.
But I think a bottle goes around 500 to 600 pula.
Okay. All right. That is your currency in your currency, in your money. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Which
All
is
right.
equivalent to what in US?
Sorry?
What is the equivalent, say, in US? Do you have any idea?
Around 40 something US dollars.
Okay.
Yeah. Around 40 US dollars.
Okay. With you guys in Botswana, the HIV virus is so prevalent. Are there any campaigns over there other than your Positive Moments organization, sort of, raising the alarm, talking, or even prepared to do about that dreaded virus so that others, kind of stay on the straight and narrow, as it were?
Yes. There are lots. And there are other ones that are upcoming activists who want to run their organizations like me, who have seen me doing this, and they want to go through my footsteps.
Mhm.
And there's actually a lot. actually, because as you can see, with the small population that we have, we are really topping in the world. So it's everyone is trying to do their part somewhere, somehow, where they are, even though you'd see that the society itself, young people out there, there's a lot that is happening currently with transactional sex and um, intergenerational sex, and there's a lot that is happening, and that's what we are trying now to prevent young people from being infected because as it goes, years goes, when things we don't really work hard to help our young generation to take the right path. I see 500,000 of the population in few years infected. So
Wow.
that's what I fear for. Yeah, I would really want, I would really wish for the young generation to just take action
Mhm.
against this and be the ones at the forefront to help their peers so that they won't find themselves in the same path as us.
Sure, sure. All right. Just before Alvin comes in, I know Alvin wants to ask a question or two. What do you think? You being an activist, read that dreaded virus. What do you think are some of the main causes of that virus in your country? What is something that lead to that situation? The percentage being so high.
Our behavior, the way we conduct ourselves,
Mhm.
the way we'll have as older men like you with younger girls, the way people think it's good to have multiple partners, the way most of the people don't want to go to the facility to test.
By the way,
And
just a question, just a question I need to ask you right there. Is polygamy legal in Botswana?
yes, it is.
Okay, okay,
Yes, it's legally. The other one is married through customary court.
okay.
Yeah. And the other one is married through the main court where you sign and everything, and then when you take other wives you do it the customary way, and
What
then
is
there's still
Yeah, sorry.
customary.
Yes, I was just trying to ask you, just give us a little more detail, read that customary court arrangement.
Customary is where it's one of the where we have, I don't know how I'm going to put it, because in the society whereby there's a leader before it gets to the member of the parliament and the councillor.
Mhm.
There's a leader who is called Kosi.
Okay,
Who's in we have small courts in the villages, in
okay,
small everywhere, like from the village to the higher village to the urban areas. So in those sorry, rural, yes, in those there's a leader there. So this leader acts like can act like a police officer. They act sorry, I don't know how I'm gonna put it, but yo, I wasn't even expecting that. But these leaders, that are the ones who do with the laws at the lowest level
okay,
in the
okay, yeah,
community. Yes,
okay.
they deal with the laws and all other things. Like, even when I come and then I have problems with my husband, I can go to them than going to the police or going to the court or whatever.
Elders,
So
like elders in the community, elders.
yes, those are the elders that are selected, and then they're working together with all the community members. When we have problems, we go to them before we can get to the member of the parliament or
Mhm, mhm.
the councillor of the district. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is, can these elders, quote unquote, of the community do the marriages that we're talking about? Can they perform this? Can they?
Yes, you go there and then you sign up with them in that
Okay.
level of like customary court. You
Okay.
know, when
Okay.
in
I
our culture,
I
when
get
we
you.
get in our culture, when I get married as a man, you have to pay lobola for me. They have to. There are certain things that are done in my culture, and then even the elders of the village have to be notified and everything. You know, there are some
Oh,
certain things
yes.
that
Yeah.
they really take it very serious when it comes to our culture.
Okay. All
Mm.
right, Ona, so far so good. I'm learning. I'm learning a lot. Thank you very much. So far so good. Alvin.
Yeah, well, well, Ola, again, let me welcome you. I mean, I see they sometimes say you see the glass half filled or half empty, and I can see your glass half filled. I can see positivity in your glass of water. I mean, even the smile on your face tells a lot. But I have two first questions to ask you before we dig deeper. The first one is, I know you said you were devastated when you got the news, but what led you not to pursue this matter further legally? What tells you that, you know what, I'm not going to do that? What drives you to? And then in the same breath, I want to ask, have you forgiven him in your heart? Because have you let it go? Because you tell me, I'm reading it, but I want to hear from you. Two things. What led you to decide, you know what, I'm just going to leave this alone? And have you forgiven him? Forgiveness. Have there been forgiveness?
Mm. I did. What was the first question again?
What led you not to pursue
Yes, yes,
the
yes,
matter
yes.
legally? What tell you, you know what, I'm not going to do it? What instinct, what prompted you at the time? Was it fear? Was it just, you know what? I mean, what is it? I'm trying to get.
Yes. I just felt that I had to let it go, and it was the time that I had found a job at that time, and I was still new at my job,
Mm-hmm.
and to think of having to now start doing all the chords, and you know how chords were dragging. I started even thinking about that, how things will drag and drag and drag, and I felt that I didn't have much of that energy
Okay.
to see myself going back and forth to court and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and then going back home again, because now I had moved to the capital city,
Mm-hmm.
and the incident went happened in my village.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought of having to go back there again, having to talk to the police who we were doing my case when I went there. So I saw it as something that was, that was going to be so tiring, and
Really, yeah.
I just needed to live my life now and move ahead. And that time after he told me that he knew that he was HIV positive was the time that I was supposed to take action.
Okay. Okay.
I crashed that day. I crashed and I wanted to bite him, do something to him. I thought about revenge, anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I thought about that. But then I told myself that, you know what, if I'm going to allow this negativity, like, toxicity of having to revenge on him or having to go around and do whatever, I'll be consuming a lot of energy, and I didn't want to do that. But I always, now that I advocate for everyone out there, I'll encourage them to take that path, because I still believe that I could have done better.
Right.
But then I don't regret as well that I didn't do it, because at the end of the day, even if I could have done it, it wouldn't have made much of a difference of me being positive at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, I was still going to
You'll be
live
fine.
with my HIV while he's still in prison, and then he's going to come back, and then it's going to be life as usual.
Yeah. And have you forgiven him?
Yes, I told myself like that day that I need to close this chapter. I prayed even for him. I prayed for my heart to be clear. I cleared him out of my life and asked God to give me the strength to forgive him and move ahead. And so far, I believe that even if I can see him, I'm just going to say, "Hi, how are you? Are you good?" Yeah, that's me.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Indeed. Ona, it was always perceived before, it was even said before that when someone contracted that disease or that virus, as it were, it was sort of like a death sentence. Is that still the situation today?
Now, now, like I said, the improvements, we have a choice. Now your choice is to take the medication, and then you would live more more the same of the lifespan that you were supposed to have, more the same. Because if you look into the people who were first infected, who have let's talk about the ones who were born with HIV now. They're like in Botswana, the first incidence of a person living with HIV was back in 1987. The first person to be uh, found having HIV in Botswana. And take for instance, somebody who was born that time, and then now they still the born that time with HIV, and they're
Okay.
still alive and very beautiful and everything. So the death sentence came with that there were no medication, there was nothing, and
Okay.
people died because of that. And nowadays, if there's going to be HIV is going to be associated with a death sentence, it's the one that you are sentencing yourself with. When you refuse to take medication, when you refuse to take care of yourself, when you refuse to do one, two, three, four, that we are told to do by the doctors. But if I'm adhering to my medication, I'm just living this life positively, I don't see it as a death sentence.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Are there any side effects though of taking that medication and living with that positive virus in your system? Are there any side effects?
It differs because
Mhm.
some people will. I on my experience, I didn't have any side effects. I was actually expecting them because I researched first. I asked people, guys, those who started taking medication before me. I
Mhm.
was afraid to take medication, and when when they told me about the side effects they had, and I was expecting them. After I took my pills late at around 10 p.m. so that I can just go straight to bed and sleep. But when I woke up, I didn't have any side. Like most people, they said they had nightmares. They would have sweats. They will have fevers and all that. And some they will develop even rashes here and there. But like I said, it differs from somebody's immune system. You know that the HIV, um, um, it goes through your immune system.
Mhm.
And then when your immune system, the CD4 count is really, really low, and then maybe you were sick. Maybe your viral load it was very, very low, and then you start taking medication. There can be those side effects because now these pills are getting inside a body that is already have an ailment or that is already sick. But with us, I started medication. I wasn't sick. My viral load was around 600 and something. And those that were given medication before everyone else was told to start medication, they were looking into their viral load, and it was around 200. So if your viral load was below 200, starting, they were telling you to start medication before we had treat all. So those were the people that will hear from them that there's a lot of side effects. But if you are infected and diagnosed now, while you are still fresh like me, you might not get much of side effects than somebody who's already sick.
But would you say, I mean, it's, how should I ask the question? Would you say part of that has to do with your mental state of mind as well? Because,
Yes,
you know, a body that is stressed, worrying about several things. You're worrying about the fact that you have this thing, you're worrying about finance, you're worrying about, you know, different things. It kind of puts stress on your body and your organ system, and that can have a reaction
yes,
as well.
yes,
So would you say
yes,
that a positive outlook with someone like yourself and others would help in that process?
yes, yes, with positive outlook onto this, because I've seen people even defaulting medication, and even they will they will give, yes, a lot of reasons why maybe they stop taking medication, but it goes on even in to deal with their mental health and their mental state. You
Mhm.
know, being positive about, that's why I always say I'm a woman who is positively. Is not about being HIV positive.
Right.
It's all about taking this into a positive light, living every moment to the fullest, and doing everything with love and passion, you know. So you see, when the immune system is down, like through the stress and everything out there, you
Mhm.
know, you'll get to
No medication will work.
your health will
Yeah, deteriorate.
go down. Yes,
Mhm.
deteriorate.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wow. All right, Ona, so far so good. I know people are riveted to their seats listening to your life story, as it were. But we're gonna sort of dovetail the conversation after that much needed break to some more positive aspects of that negative situation as to the
Just before we take the break,
Mhm.
I know she mentioned a son. She has a son, 25-year-old, who's a chef. And what impact did that have on him and your relationship with the rest of your family? What kind of support was there, or what? How did that go?
I told him when he was like 15 years, and he just took it like, oh, okay. He's a very quiet boy, and he doesn't talk much. So he was okay. No, that's fine, just like that. And I told him, you know what, I'm not going to die. Don't be, don't take it like that. And please read, 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 read. You know, I encouraged him to research more on my life now when I'm going to live with HIV. And then with my family, when I first told my first sister, who I told when I came back from work, she said, "Oh, okay, no, it's fine." She was just like that as well, and they have been, I think they were the very people who made me to have the strength to do everything,
That's good.
because they showed me that,
So,
they showed me the love and support.
mhm.
And even with my mom, when she was still alive, she would always say she had diabetes, and she would always say, "Please give me your HIV," so that because diabetes, she was using the injection and everything, and taking a whole lot of medication and all that. So she will always joke about that. And I haven't, from family and friends, I haven't had a much I always had support.
That's good.
They supported me throughout the way. I didn't have anyone to look down on me, looking at my status and everything. It's only the friends and not friends, men that I met along the way, especially on relationships and starting relationships and all that.
Good, good, good. Excellent, excellent. Yes, Lofty, we can take that break.
No, no, no. Sari uchiwari out. Isindikele. Isindikele. Uchiwari out. Yeah. Iropo Lahahu Uratakana usarati Ukupila kiwe na pandili How much shapa yeah. How much suklaka suklamuti How abona buri sino se kimula tu mahodimo.
All right, folks. Yes, we are here. That is your program each and every Sunday from 6 o'clock in the evening. It's called Civic Vibes. We're having a very sober conversation indeed with my friend from Botswana in Africa. Those of you are tuning in late, trust me, you missed a lot. Guess what? You can always go back. We're talking to my friend Ona. I will let her pronounce her name in just a while. I will not attempt to do that. Yes, basically revealing to us, as it were, her life story thus far, as it pertains to she has been affected and infected with this much dreaded virus that has a stigma with it still called HIV. It's giving us the ups and downs, the ins and outs, the pros and cons. So after that much needed break, we're gonna, focus much more on the positive side of things. How if you listening at this time, maybe living with that dreaded virus at this time, what can you do? What can be done? As you heard us said, it's no longer, as it were, a death sentence where medication and medicine is concerned. So yes, she is living in the positive. The brief engagement I had with this sister, I can tell you, no one, absolutely no one that I met so far is much more lively, much more animated than this young lady. So if you don't know she have that virus and living with it, then you don't know at all. All of those of you who are glued at this time to the conversation, thank you very, very much. To the other participants, the IVLP participants, I got a couple messages from you guys privately saying that Lofty, keep up the good work. We are glued and we are locked. Matter of fact, one more participant has even promised to come on very, very soon to give her story as well. So stay tuned for that sometime in the future. But so far, so good. We are 7 minutes past 6. Oh, sorry, tongue twister here. 7 minutes past 7 o'clock. So we have just like half an hour more with Ona. And then we move across to the second segment. We will be hearing from two gentlemen from Dominica originally, but lives out there. In the name of Mr. Jeff Ballard and brother Ivan Nicholas. Stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned. Much more coming your way. That is your favorite program each and every Sunday. We're talking to Ona this evening from Botswana. let's move across now to Ona with the limited time we have left and talk about more of the positive vibes happening in her life. And so, Ona, welcome back. Let us sort of, leave us on a more, inspiring, motivated note, even in this very challenging situation that you are confronted with. Let's speak about your organization, Positive Moments, you call it.
Yes. You are.
Yes, go right on. Go right on. Tell us much more about Positive Moments, how it came about, how it's going, and everything as it relates to that organization.
Yes, Positive Moments. I started registering it after I went public about my status. Like I said, that people encouraged me for my bravery and everything. And then they were like, you know what, you have to help others out there who are failing to accept their status and everything. So I started it then, and then it started with like programs that you read from the bio. And each and every year we have different programs that we are reaching out to people living with HIV, especially, and more like do more of behavioral change interventions in schools, in from young people in and out of school youth. And also we get to have programs whereby we now deal with men. One thing we have realized about men is that men are afraid to go to the facilities to get health services. Men are afraid to test, men are afraid to blah blah blah, and the list go and on and on. So we usually try to help them to see a better way to be able to, so that they can be able to access health services as much as women do. As you can see that even the prevalence for HIV in Botswana, you'd see that women are the mostly infected ones than men. And I will always say, and then where did we get this virus from? You know, yes, and we basically do some of the. We had another project where we did. It's called that was called community-led monitoring, where we were doing more like a research to find out how people are accessing services in the clinics and how best we can be able to improve the services, as we were working with all the stakeholders in the community, from the district level to the uh, whether to take the issues up with the parliament to change the policies and everything. And so far, we have also been doing a project that we work in facilities. Like I said, we work mostly in clinics where we help clients stay, where we do even counseling, we do even testing for HIV, we even distribute condoms and lubricants and everything to the community. And so far, right now, we have a project that is upcoming that will be working with adolescents and young people in the in the in the district, the Kwening East district, where we are based. And it's very I truly love this one, because now we are going to deal with young people. We are going to help them to see light, and to try to get them to not to do to stay healthy and safe out there. So we are going to deal more with young people aged from the age of 10 to 24. And I actually haven't done only one population. I usually do different populations, like even people living with HIV of all ages and everything. So this one is different and it's very interesting. So I'm looking forward to it, knowing for a fact that I like to talk. I like to motivate. I like to encourage. I'm going to have to. I'm looking forward to see how these young people, I take them from being those naughty young girls to be good girls with good grades and being their role models to others. And so far, yes, there were cuts from the US embassy, as there were the USAID cuts and PEPFAR not funding us anymore. And but we hoping for the best, that things will get better one day, and then we'll be back again and to doing more and more of other things that we failed to do. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Someone is asking on the live feed a question here, which I want to pose to you. What is the majority age? She's asking range, that is, of the HIV persons in your country. What is the majority age range?
It's from 15 to 49, if not mistaken. We have middle aged. They are mostly middle aged, and from starting from the young ages, yeah, like 15 to 49, if not mistaken, or 65. But middle age mostly, we are so infected.
Okay.
As for the other older ages, they have been aging with HIV, and you don't see new infections from them. The new
Okay.
infections come from the younger generation.
Okay, cool. Just a follow-up question to that, though. You said 15 to 49, that's the age range. What is now the age of consent in your country?
It's 18 years.
18.
Yes.
So basically, the data shows that persons who are under the age of consent are doing things, are engaging in activities that have them come up with that virus. So that even adds, much more of a dire situation in your country for these
Yes,
numbers.
you'd see that. Even I'm just gonna talk about one district. One
Yes.
district whereby we have around 200 teenage pregnancies in a district. So just imagine, how many districts do we have? I don't know. I'm forgot. But just imagine now, like teenage pregnancies, those ones that are below 18, those that are still in schools, and you'd realize that it's always somebody older than them, somebody your age, somebody my age. It's always somebody, and there is a lot of cases of defilement, and yeah, that's how it is, and that's why we're still at the top with HIV.
Wow. And what is the law now in terms of the application of it doing to address that kind of situation that you spoke of?
It's there. As for the young people, I mean the those underage, uh, when somebody like they had sex with a minor, they'll be in prison for up to 15 years.
Okay.
And with HIV laws, whereby somebody infected you knowingly, in some of the cases they have been, there are cases, but they don't get to end up in court and being, as I told that our communities are people who doesn't care much about their health, multi current partners and everything. So you realize that maybe it's you who reported me that I have infected you. But then, as the time goes on and on, when we are trying to gather evidence and everything, we see that, oh, this guy has multiple partners. This guy hasn't. He's not such an angel. He's trying to make me to trying to be. So you'd see that in most cases whereby somebody feels that they have been infected by another one, they always usually fail to go to even court, because the lack of evidence of having to because they will look into how you have been conducting yourself out there, how you have been living, whether you have been testing, whether you have been doing whatever. But I wish that somebody can win one. But since that we're just out there doing whatever, you know, yeah. But
So
me
it's
on my side, I haven't infected anyone, nah. And I wouldn't want to get to that point. So I'm undetectable. And my virus now is untransmittable, meaning that as much as I'm going to take medication and adhere to my medication, I'm not going to be able to infect my sexual partner. And
okay.
now we are being able to breastfeed unlike before. So
Okay.
things have improved. And if you find yourself living diagnosed with HIV, take your medication and live your life to the fullest.
I'm
Okay.
sort of very curious of that last point that you raised there. What is your status now? You said how you classified it on what?
U equals U. Undetectable is equals to untransmittable.
Oh,
It
okay.
means my viral load, it's so very low. We are checked in clinic, viral load, CD4 count, whatever. They take our blood samples. In a year, we do that 2 times so that they can check how our viral loads is going and our CD4 counts and everything. So when my viral load, it is very very low to a point whereby they say it is at a 0%. It means that my viral load it's undetectable. So if it's at that level, it means that I can't transmit the virus to my sexual partner.
You say you can't.
No.
Okay. All right.
So the
All right.
medication.
No matter how
Thanks.
many times we try.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that, Alvin. Thanks for
Let
that,
me,
Una.
let me ask Ona. I think Lofty was asking, tell us your first name. How is it pronounced? Tell us that first name.
Oh yes, yes.
Onale tata.
Say that again.
Onale tata. I have power.
Oh, that's what it means. I have power.
Yes.
Okay.
Onale tata. Tata is
Ona le tata. Ola ne tapa.
tata.
Alvin,
Tata.
Okay.
I hope I hope you might need your tongue tomorrow morning, huh? But Una, you have a very interesting
Beautiful
name, I
name.
must say. Just
I
pronounce
think most of the African names have a meaning behind it. That's what I know.
yes,
No.
yes.
It's always a continent I'm intrigued of and want to visit one day.
And the
My first pick, of course, I'll be biased. It's Ghana. Somehow I hear a lot about Ghana. I want to go to
I
Ghana,
know.
but now I meet someone from Botswana. That will be on my bucket list.
Yeah.
And then I'm
And
looking
you check it out.
Sierra Leone, South Africa. There's some places when I read the history, I really like to go and dig more. But let me
so just Alvin, just have her pronounce her name and surname, please. She didn't
okay,
pronounce
do
the
the
surname.
surname. Yes, I'm sorry. The name and surname.
Onale tata. Baby. It's not, is that baby.
Baby. Baby. I got the surname quicker than the first name.
All right, Alvin. All right, Alvin. We know why. We know why.
But
All right, but go ahead.
ask
We have
you,
limited time. We have limited time, but go ahead. Yes.
in terms of you spoke about the work of your foundation or your organization. And I know one of the US organization, and based on the program you guys did, was heavily funded by USAID. And you spoke about getting the medication that has a US value of $40, $600, your currency. And you talk about the numbers of persons still infected and the rise. What are the challenges you see moving forward with your organization? Because in the absence of that USA funding and the fact that, well, I don't know, maybe you can tell me to what extent your government investing, not just from a policy level, but a financial level, in terms of providing the resources needed so that you can continue your program. And are you doing that full time, or is it a part-time arrangement, or how does that work? Because it seems to me that's a lot of work.
Yes, with the cutting of the funding, we've seen some organizations closing doors that were mostly funded by USAID, and those were organizations were providing us with services. Gonna give example about an organization that dealt with the LGBTQI community. It was closed, and then when you look into the LGBTQI community, they were accessing their services there. They were accessing their medications there, and they doing their testings, and there were other organizations that were providing PrEP, that is pre-exposure prophylaxis, the pill that is taken by a negative person to prevent themselves from being infected. So we've seen some of these organizations closed, and now we had to rely more onto the government. Is one thing that I loved about our government is that ever since the Americans provided us with those first years, we were mostly getting the medication from the Americans. But then after that, our government, we started to now rely on be self-reliant when it comes to the ARVs. But now you'd see that the patients that were taking medication from the organizations that were closed, now they had to move to the government clinics. And even I've seen some gaps here and there of maybe reagents. Reagents are those things that are used to test us for to check our CD4 counts, kidneys, and we are provided with all those services. Like we are tested yearly as a person living with HIV is tested twice for CD4 count, viral load, kidneys, and the liver. So we've seen that we really took a knock at those because we didn't have reagents, and most people were sent back home. I've seen that we even showed there was shortages of HIV testing kits, and yeah. But I'm hoping and praying that we don't get, because if things don't get better, we are heading towards something else. Yeah, I can't go. It's almost time up. I can if I can give you an example, like when somebody has defaulted, they have to be tested to see their CD4 count
Right,
and
right,
to
right, right.
and everything. So
Okay.
now, if those are not there, this person cannot be helped with medication or whatsoever.
Then
So that's what's
that's a
happening.
huge
So
challenge, a
this
huge problem.
person is HIV positive, she can be tested for to check their CD4 count before they can be reinitiated to start medication. And
Right.
that person, now they won't take medication. They will just say, go and take these blood samples, and then you bring them, and then that's when we can help you with your
Mm.
medication. So
Okay.
just look at that person who's just around, roaming around with
Yeah,
their
yeah,
virus,
yeah.
uh, with their virus detectable. Now what they are doing, they're infecting others.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a major challenge in the absence of the funding. But what I know we're coming to an end, but let me also ask you, quite apart from the HIV work that you're doing, does your organization does any other work with young people or anything else you're involved in? And I ask, are you doing that full time or part time?
We are doing this, to us it's about full time because of passion, but the problem is that when we just have to work with how what we get from which kind of funding, and then we go with it.
Funding, yeah, yeah.
But as a full-time thing, we provide psychosocial support, counseling. We provide even the school. Like he called me to wake up at 12 midnight to do interview. We'll be called by schools, or by we work with the universities. We work with the primary to a higher level schools,
Mhm.
whereby we help them to access better services from us, because it's a youth-led organization. Even
Exactly. Okay.
those I'm working with the young people, so
Okay.
we get to help young people to see like those who are living with HIV. We help them not to default, not to infect others and everything, or to accept themselves. You know, sometimes some people it's very hard for them to accept themselves, and there's a lot of stigma and discrimination. And we tried so much to talk about their rights. We try to do stigma reduction programs, and there's a lot of gender-based violence. We try by all means to there's a lot.
Okay.
There's a lot that we basically do in whether with or without funding. It's our job. We'll
Right.
still
Your job.
do it. Yes.
It's your job indeed. Yes, Una, we have very limited time, I must say, but with that limited time, let me just, on Civic Vibes behalf, sort of give you or extend to you rather an open invitation to come back here sometime, because we only touch on your life story, as it were, your organization, but your country, that part of Africa. There's an economy, there's culture, there's heritage, there's young people. And so that is what our program is all about, opening up the conversations. So we'd really like you to come back sometime to sort of drill down or unpack other topics that would be of interest to our listeners and viewers. So, on our behalf, we'd like to extend that to you.
And you know that there's a lot. There's a lot, like when you said, that you have been through a lot, like through teenage pregnancy, through being raped twice, through all that. And how did you survive all that?
And some of the
as you can see, there's nothing that can happen to anyone that person couldn't take it and turn it in something positive.
True.
I've been there, I've done that, I've seen it all, but I'm still here and saying that I'm going to live this life to the fullest and I'm not going to look back. And one thing I've realized is that taking life in a positive light can take you a long way. Living your life to see to with kindness, with this smile every day, meeting people and being friendly to them, and that thing on its own is even healthier than eating fruits and vegetables. I think if any kind of any challenge, if we can take it head on and see a positive life and take it positively, we can never go wrong.
Yeah, we have one of our local singers in Dominica, reggae artist. He has one of his tracks entitled "Living in the Positive," and you, Una, you epitomize that so very well indeed. Nasir Fontaine is his name, that is. But two quick things before you go on. I just need you to sort of give an advice to people in general, especially our young folks out there, young ladies, young men, in terms of their lifestyle, sexually, that is. Of some advice as to not going down that route that you went down, and the everything that comes with that kind of unguarded lifestyle, as it were, where sexual relationship or relationships they are concerned. And finally, we'll give you an opportunity, seeing that you spoke of the funding have sort of dried up, to make that appeal to anybody listening out there, organizations out there, because social media, the world is at your doorstep. And so make that appeal for anyone listening to sort of just lend a helping hand by digging deep in their pockets and help finance the very good work of Positive Moments in Botswana.
Yes. I always tell people that if you truly love yourself, you have to do right by your health. You can't say I'm eating healthy or I'm exercising when you don't know your HIV status, when you don't know your overall health status. Knowing your overall health status, it can help you to build your life in a better way. Because when you test for HIV, take for instance, and then you know your status year by year by year, you know that you don't have it. And even when you know your status, now look into your life to say, I am now negative. What are you doing about it? What are you doing to make sure that you will live your life being negative for the rest of your life? And we all know what we have to do. We have to take care of our health. We have to even use condoms at all times. And we have to ensure that even when you meet your partner, go out there and test. Go out there, start a relationship with an HIV testing. Because at the end of the day, tomorrow will be pointing fingers at each other. So taking care of yourself first before you take care of somebody else, it matters most to us. And when we are now, I'm going to go to those who are positive. You know what to do. You know that medication is the only thing that is giving us a better life. We are given a second chance. Why should we ruin it now? Why should we default? Why should we take another route when we already have this beautiful path that we have to walk through? Let's walk through this path of living with HIV positively, positively and doing right by others. Doing right by others, I would mean like I can come to you and then meet with you and then have unprotected sex without even telling you that I'm HIV positive. Let's do right by others as well so that we can make this world a better place. There's nothing wrong with disclosing your status to your partner or to somebody that you love. It shows that you love them. Let them decide whether they want to be with you or not. But it doesn't have to, HIV doesn't have to make you think that, relationships are going to be hard relationship. I've been there, I've been that. I've met men even who are HIV negative. It's only that I haven't got to find the one who can wife me, but I believe that one day I'll be somebody's wife. But you know what? Take everything in a positive light and in a positive way and look for advice, read, research, and become a Miss Know It All or Mr. Know It All when it comes to these healthy issues and all that, so that you can be able to prevent yourself and your family and everyone around you. And I believe that with all of us working together to make this HIV epidemic to maybe to stop it or to fight it, let's stop stand together in this fight. Let's not discriminate or stigmatize others. Let's live as one and then love each other as one.
Do you have a website? Do you have any numbers, any contact information you want to leave with the people out there, just in case someone is listening and they want to reach out?
I'm not sure about our website now, but it is www.positivemoments.co.bw. But they can always contact you as well. Get my contacts from you, and my contact numbers are +267 72505889. On Facebook, we are called Positive Moments Organization.
Okay. It's Positive Moments Organization.
Yes, and me on my profile on Baby Tempi Love. Yeah, that is us. We are just mostly using Facebook because we know where our reach is. Here in Botswana, mostly Facebook is mostly used, and that's why we are mostly there. But even in other platforms, sometimes we don't reach much of the audience. So that's why we have basically been much on Facebook.
True.
Yes.
Amatengadzaje kusesa bakomo pamaivaje ugaja mama early morning amatengadzaje kusesa bakomo
Una, your final thoughts before you leave our presence tonight. We appreciate you. We love the conversation in terms of information. Your sacrifice in terms of your time tonight. Well, in the morning, as it was 1:30 thereabout in your neck of the wood. So just your final thoughts, Una, before you leave our space. Thank you again.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for this interview. It's been refreshing. It's I truly believe that whoever was listening out there is gonna do something about their life is going to do something about their health. HIV is no longer a single sentence at all. It is when you take your medication, you can live your life to the fullest. And let's also help others to help others who are living with HIV or whoever is coping with any health matters. Let's stand together in this fight and do right by us and love ourselves and think more and do even better. That's the way, and you can never go wrong when you live in your life positively. Thank you.
Una, thank you very much. I met you in 2019 one way. I'm reuniting with you the very same way, Una. You have not changed a bit. Thank you very, very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bambo dandisi enda salandeka Tavizina mweni maloja ine.
All right, folks. Yes, that is it.
Enda salandeka.
I know you guys want more.
Gonda mama. Gonda une mama mwe. Gonda une mama mwe. Gonda mama jamana.
I know you guys want more of Una.
Gonda mama.
Some other time. It's minutes to 2 a.m. That is in her neck of the wood. So we need to release her at this time. But very interesting conversation, very informative at that. Much food for thought, as it were. That's an elder singing here. 91 years of age, he did this song. Some part in Africa. Yes, folks, if you want to stretch your foot at this time, or your feet rather, just have a drink, use the bathroom. Now is the time to do just that, because the next segment is up next. Brothers Jeff Stevenson Ballard and Mr. Ivan Nicholas coming to talk to us about a reunion that was held in the south of Dominica, Scott's Head to be precise, and what is to come. Yes, we are saturating your airwaves tonight. A number of tracks from Africa. That's the motherland, huh? My dear friend Petra, Carbon Judge, good evening to you. And all of those of you on Facebook and YouTube as well, following the vibes. Glenda Lavi de Burton says here, very informative program. Great job. Ona is so brave, she says. Thank you very much. Yes, we have basically stolen some time, at least 10 minutes of this brother's time. So we're going to move across to them in just a bit.
Chalamanda, 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 chalamanda. Inagwana tagera nigundu.
A brother from Zimbabwe listening at this time. Good morning to you.
Inagwana tagera nigundu. Sinadi tonto kare ntawiya Napolo. Napolo iwajabe.
A friend from Turkey as well. You're up.
Napolo iwajabe. Wajabe. Wajabe.
right, folks, that is it. Let's take a break on this one. And let me say a special good evening to Brother Bellot and Brother Nicholas. Good evening to you, sirs.
Good evening to you, Lofty. Good evening to you, my good friend Alvin, to all the folks viewing, listening. It's great to be back here.
Always a pleasure, Brother Jeff. That is my colleague sometime back. Always nice having you, Jeff. Always nice seeing you and conversing with you, brother.
Always a pleasure. I always remember the day Lofty. I was a keynote speaker while I was in Dominica, the for primary. And those graduates, I remember giving them the story about being ready to be taken over as a leader. And that story of you and I, when we did that electronic course with James Electronics through the Youth Development Division, where we had to take that interview and, you pull up your graduate certificate. And then the question was, who's more ready? I didn't have that with me, not even a resume. So Lofty got the job, not me. But we were very thankful that we both were able to be interns at two very different radio stations. I think you were at DBS and I was at Kyrie, right? I think that's what it was.
Yes,
Those days, I think those days actually, Alvin Thomas was the GM at Kyrie. I think I didn't know him back then. So it's always good to be with you and those memories go back. And one may say, well, how come Jeff not Lofty? How Lofty no Jeff? They don't know how long this go back.
Long way, my brother. Long way indeed. And on that note, let me just say good evening. He's always locked in, Brother James, our tutor back then, David James.
Great guy. He and I always talk when I go on island. He always say, he remembered that program very well, and he said he couldn't be blessed with people like us. And let me tell you, Lofty, he's very proud of you. He's very proud of that group and everyone in that group that we have done, and a great guy. And I asked him, I said, James, would you do this again? He said, with the right people and the right time, why not?
Indeed. Let me see if we can see your colleague here, Mr. Nicholas. Good evening to you, sir.
I don't think he realizes he's on mute. He probably need to unmute.
All right, he has unmute, and also we are seeing him as well.
He's muted. He's still mute.
Can you unmute, Ivan?
You just need to unmute.
Unmute your mic. Yes. No, you are still muted. We are not hearing you.
You're not hearing you. So just look for the mute button. There you go.
There you go.
All right. Good evening to everyone. Good evening, Lofty. Good evening, Mr. Thomas, and also good evening to all your listeners. First and foremost, I can't match your resumes. You guys are very colorful. So I'm just the average Joe.
but let me tell you something.
Two of us, Ivan, please. That makes two of us.
Let me tell you something.
You guys were talking earlier. You heard them. I'm sure you heard them.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Nicholas, that I haven't told you as yet. But I'll tell you publicly now. Whenever you speak, you come across with a very radio-like voice. It's well, deep. And it carries across a certain weight in terms of, something to do with journalism. So you may just want to consider that, sir. You're very well read, you pronounce properly, you speak properly, and it comes off well, at least from my end. So I just want to tell you that.
Well, thank you very much, Lofty. You're indeed making me blush right now, but I'll take it. I've always wanted to be a journalist. Since my days at SMA, I've always wanted to be some Wolf Blitzer or some guys on TV. That has always been my passion. And well, sadly, due to circumstances beyond my control, my parents' control, I did not achieve that goal. But as long as you have life, everything is still possible. So true. I'm learning from you and all the media persons, Lofty.
So I wasn't that far off, eh?
You're quite correct. Thank you.
But brother Nicholas, let me, on behalf of Civic Vibes, Alvin Thomas is here, and many folks viewing and listening, welcome you to that space. It's the very first time. Jeff, he has been there a number of times, so Jeff is no stranger. As a matter of fact, Jeff is considered to be part of the Civic Vibes team, so we welcome you on board as well.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and also my my colleague, my fellow villager, my mentor, my everything, Mr. Jeff Bellot. You know, it's such a pleasure working with this guy. I mean, we've known each other from childhood, you know, and it's always a pleasure working with him. This is a gentleman who has adopted a can-do approach. You know, nothing is impossible, nothing is too hard, nothing is too difficult. And that's what I get from him, the inspiration, the motivation. And I'm so happy to be alongside him this evening.
All right, Alvin, you're taking to...
You and I need to connect offline because I heard you mention our alma mater, St. Mary's Academy.
Oh, the smartest man alive.
Okay, don't rub it in too much, you know. But we need to connect offline because I'm involved in a huge project.
Yes,
you heard about it, I believe.
Yeah, some time ago I heard you and Wadix and some other persons were having that fundraiser to rebuild.
We'll talk offline. We'll talk offline.
Okay, all right.
Let me just say, in terms of the welcome, I want to welcome you to this program. My good friend Jeff and I, we go way back as well. We got a lot in common, as you mentioned. When he started off his early career at Kyrie FM, I was the general manager of that radio station for a while before I migrated. Actually, it was my last stint working in Dominica before I migrated to the US. Many months away. Seems like yesterday, but when I checked a few years ago, I said, damn, I didn't realize that, you know, it's that long. But yeah, Jeff and I go way back. And of course, you being a product of the smartest men alive, that speaks for itself. I say no more. So it's a pleasure to have you guys. We look forward to a conversation and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Folks, let's get into it, as it were. 10 minutes to 8 o'clock. We'll wind down the program just about 8:30 there about with this gentleman here. Jeff, brother Ivan, you guys came to Dominica. Well, you are from Dominica, first and foremost. Ivan, just in terms of an introduction of yourself, we know Jeff is a quote-unquote old campaigner, but just a brief introduction. Just who is Ivan Nicholas from Scott's Head?
Well, frankly speaking, I was born in Scott's Head, raised in Scott's Head. I came from a very humbling beginning. You know, my parents, you know, my father was a fisherman. My mother was a stay-home lady, and went through the early grind, as we would say. Very, very humble beginning. For the matter of fact, when I passed the common entrance, you know, my mom was already considering me sending me to Point Michelle to live with my sister. And are you there, Lofty?
Yes, go ahead. He's there. I'm there.
Yes. So that's where I met fellas fellas like Matt Peltier, Carlton Winston, you know, all those guys, you know, who went to SMA around that time, you know. So I spent quite a while in Point Michelle. That's why whenever I'm traveling from Roseau to Scott's Head, from the very moment I get to Point Michelle, it's like, you know, I mean, a prime minister is passing through. Is Ivo over there? Ivo. Everybody affectionately calls me Ivo, you know. So yeah, it's been great. After having gone through SMA, you know, my parents couldn't afford to send me, you know, to higher learning. You know, I took up a job at Mawson's Trading. I worked there for a year. Then I moved on to Dominica Steering Company. That's why fellas like Wadix and Alvin Thomas, not Alvin Thomas, I'm sorry, Melcher Jones, Alvin Sarah, you know, I mean, Zabuka and all those fellas, you know, I was the paymaster at Dominica Stevedores, which I held the position for 7.5 years. And then I migrated to the Virgin Islands. You know, I mean, among my family tree, I was the very last person to move to the US. Everyone had left already. I was so much in love with my country. I enjoyed the fellas I worked with, Zabuka, Melcher, and all these guys, Wadix, you know. I enjoyed them so much until the US threatened me, said, Mr. Nicholas, if you're not moving to the US, we're going to revoke your documents. So, I mean, grudgingly and reluctantly, I had to leave Dominica. And that's where I am right now. I'm in St. Thomas. You know, I mean, my siblings have been asking me to move to Boston, move to Miami. I'll stay in St. Thomas. It's much closer to Dominica, and I'm loving it out there. So that's me in a nutshell.
True. All right, thank you very much, my brother. So let's folks, let's get into it now. You guys came to Dominica sometime and organized a reunion, as it were, in the Scott's Head community, to be precise. Tell us, in terms of the genesis, the originality of that, the idea, the thought. Where did that thought came from, and where did it kick off from?
Are you referring to me? Oh, okay,
Jeff,
all right.
Bellot,
Jeff,
Ivan, Nicholas,
Jeff,
anyone of you guys.
Still, Jeff, unmute. You're mute, Jeff.
Yeah, I was saying that I could probably start with this because when it first started, it was Ivan's nephew. We call him Uncle Mike, Junior, Michael Nicholas. He actually spoke with me and said, Jeff, I would like us to do a family reunion. And Scott said, and I know you were trying to do this. We tried this, and we tried to do Sufre Scots at Ghana together. And Sufre and Scots always have this rivalry, and then into this thing, we had issues. And unfortunately, when it first started, there was a particular young lady who get involved and talk about, we can get this from PM, or we can get this from that politician. And it just crashed because the whole idea was not to make it political. So instead of that, I took some friends to St. Martin. We had our own reunion. But when Junie called back Uncle Mike, he was like, Jeff, we really have to do this. Let's look at the project. And I said, well, we need a bus stop. In Scott said, we have public convenience issues and stuff. So he and I, we spoke about it. I said, but I got my brother in England, Irving, let's call him. And he told me his uncle, Ivor, also interested. So we already started doing this like a family thing, just us going to give back to our community. Well, as we were doing that, more and more people got interested and said, well, why don't we make a village reunion? But we didn't have a lot of time. We started planning this thing like around September, October last year. And we're looking at dates, and people like, well, what about last year, the village festival? People have been to this a long time. So we put a group together with Ivan, Nicholas, Mike, Uncle Mike, and Irving Labad in England. And then we start working on this. Then we need people on the ground. We get people on the ground. We invited the village council, the member for parliament for the area, the Wrongdoers group, all stakeholders in Scotland, and some folks from Sufria. We get them together. We made it clear this is St. Mark's reunion, but we're gonna use Scotland as a pilot project, and in 2 years we will do a bigger one for Sufria where we'll include everybody. Unfortunately, when we started that, the group was going, they put me as the chairman of the committee, no problem, but I knew the challenges. Unfortunately, when we started it, we sent meetings to the member for parliament for the area. She never really attended the meeting. One meeting, she told me she didn't get the Zoom meeting. I tell her, well, I'm sorry if you didn't get it. That happened. The chairman of the council never attended the meeting. But the amazing, I'm giving this story in the beginning because I want to tell the people of Dominica that even if in your community, you may see there's a lack of leadership, you need to fill that gap. It doesn't matter who you are, and you are doing something for the right reason for your community. Nobody gonna stop you. And any organization in Dominica, listening to me right now, wanna do something for Dominica, forget about money. If you're going in there and you think you're really gonna get money, you already failed. If you're doing anything for the right reason for your community, money will come. People will see the need. And if you're doing anything for a community and you're not ready, you are not prepared mentally, physically, even emotionally, even socially, you're not ready to take criticism with the kind of political thing in Dominica. My brother, you have failed yourself. You need to put yourself forward. And I really want to compliment the team I had, people like Ivo and Uncle Mike and Celia Tavernier, the clerk of the council, and all the members of the village council, and the rest of the group on the ground. We decided it could be 4 of us. We are going to do this reunion. We stuck to it, whether the member of parliament for the area come to the meeting or not, whether the chairman of the council come to the meeting or not. We were driving. They drove me, and they give me that. If you want to feel like this, I felt this power from these guys. Like, let's do this no matter what the criticism, and we overcome every single one of obstacle in the way. And today, we have a bus stop in Scotland. Thanks to the reunion committee, thanks for the hard work. And after 8 years without a bus stop in Scotland, We have in Dominica today what is probably the most resilient bus stop built in Scottsdale, built by an engineer from Scottsdale. Maybe Mr. Thomas knows this guy, Winston Etienne, who spends time in Atlanta, come back home as an engineer, put his time to build a bus stop. But not only that, the idea of breaking that cycle of political things of if it's not a certain political group of people or certain persons who think the committee, nothing can be done. I can say today confidently, the reunion committee has broken that cycle in Scottsdale, and that the politicians, including member of parliament, has realized we were there to make her work easier. We are there to bring people together and to destroy this political barrier we have in our country, specifically in Scottsdale. And at the end of it, Lofty, I can say to you, that cycle was broken, and those who were resisting us came on board. And it couldn't be any more beautiful than that, than the last day of the closing ceremony. So I thank God for that.
Yes. Any further thoughts compounding what Jeff said, Brother Nicholas?
Well, Jeff has said it all, but I would like to make an addendum to that. You know, even before we touched down in Scottsdale, there was, you know, as you may know, well, you might not know Lofty and Mr. Thomas, but it's very polarizing in Scottsdale. Scottsdale is a village whereby politics is intense, you know. And even before we touched down in Scottsdale, there was talk about, oh, you all coming to, I mean, I don't even want to say that on air, but the sentiments, I mean, the things we were hearing, it was very discouraging. But this committee that we have assembled, we decided, you know, this is our village, this is where we're from, this is where we're born, and we're gonna stick to what we believe in. No politician, no persons coming to interfere in what we have intended to do for Scottsdale, and we stuck to it. And this is a product of what we have created. The bus stop, we've also erected a sign just before you get into Scottsdale. There's a nice, beautiful sign that says, "Welcome to Scottsdale, the historic village of Dominica." And upon leaving Scottsdale, heading back to Roseau, you know, we thank you for visiting Scottsdale. So Scottsdale has a lot of potential. You know, it's one of the areas where undoubtedly, Lofty, Scottsdale is, okay, arguably the most beautiful village in Dominica. I mean, if you look at our natural scenery, you know, our nice turquoise water, you know, our people are so friendly, so hospitable, you know, and Scottsdale has everything it takes to make Scottsdale the most beautiful village in Dominica, the most welcoming. Our people are so friendly and loving. Lofty, you've been there. Mr. Thomas, you've been there. So you can confirm what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. But, you know, initially, when we started this project, you know, we were met with a lot of hurdles, roadblocks, a lot of negative vibes. But as Jeff said, we have broken that all together. And people are realizing that this committee is there to take care of Scottsdale, the well-being of Scottsdale, to ensure that Scottsdale is more inviting, more welcoming, their public convenience. And this bus stop is not the only project we have decided to undertake. There's more to come. So we just want our people to know that our committee, although we are non-political in our doings, I mean, everyone has their political allegiance, everyone has their political bias, including me. But when it comes for the overall well-being of Scottsdale, we want to do it in a non-political manner, and we want everybody to come on board.
Yeah, well, thanks for that, Ivan and Jeff. Good introduction. Yeah, I endorse what you just said, Ivan. I mean, I have some really good, fond memories of Scottsdale. I have some good friend from Scottsdale, very good friend. Felita Paul is one of my very good friends. Winston Etienne. Winston, when I moved to Atlanta many years ago, Winston was the first person who welcomed me to Atlanta. So wow. Winston and I are buddies, very tight.
Oh man, such a humble guy.
Before I migrated to Dominica, I was part of the DPSU executive. It was called the CSA then. And Winston along with a couple of the guys, had a construction firm. And the CSA building was their first project, which I helped influence to give them that project to build. Winston Company built the CSA Center. After the CSA Center, I was able to make some, some influence with my good friend Kalai. And they built Sagngotos down Kinfield. So that's how far back Winston and I go.
Wow.
So I have some very good connection with Scott said folks. I remember those very good days of Connie Conla.
Yes, indeed.
I can never forget those days, man. Those were my young, rough days, Matt and I and all those guys. We did a lot of Connie Conla. But I want to compliment you guys for that initiative that you took. Well, Jeff sort of mentioned it in his opening comment. I know the tri-community of Scott said Soufriere Gallia. It's like when you talk about Kalinago territory, Sikipu and those places and all of that, Scott said it's kind of similar, a tri-community. But like he said, there was some challenges that prevented that community having it. But I agree with Jeff entirely. And that's one of the reasons on the Civic Vibes program, we always try to motivate people and always a call to action. It's all well and do for us to come here and talk wherever we are. But at the end of the day, what can you do, each one of us, in our own little way? And if we add it up together, what Jeff from Scott said, what Ivan, what Winston, collectively we can do for a community, I think we can move it along with. So I really want to compliment you guys. The question is, this is your first reunion, the first rodeo, the first time that Scott said have had a reunion. What do you see moving forward? Do you plan to have one every 4 years, every 5 years, or something like that? I mean, what is the intention? And then what will be able to pull out of the reunion? What did you, having done it, what were some of the positives you saw that came out of it?
Well, in I can't remember what year it was, but there was a reunion on a much smaller scale. And I think Jeff himself was an awardee during that year. But it was not on that scale we have raised it to. The level was on a much smaller scale. What I can see moving forward from this reunion is that the community of Scotland, well, even Soufriere and Gallia, like you just mentioned, I mean, it's like the Holy Spirit, the Trinity, I mean, they're three persons in one, I mean, we share a lot in common. But this reunion, we figured out that Scotland has always been left out in everything that's happening in the South, or even more so in Dominica. In Soufriere, they have the Die Fest, which is a big, big, big event. Scotland was known for its corner. Well, I mean, this is the fishing village of Dominica. Right. But, we've been left out, Take, for instance, in 2018, 17, when Hurricane Maria struck, it's like Scotland was just abandoned. I mean, there's a section of the road between Soufriere and Scotland that's been broken from this time, and nothing is just. I want to say it's because of the reunion committee that triggered something. There is something happening now, but Scotland has always been left out. If there's something to distribute nationwide, island-wide, Scotland is always the last. So we, the diaspora from Scotland, we've decided things cannot continue like that. We have to take back our village. We have to take back and give back to our village. So as Jeff rightly said, we decided, let's form this committee. Let's do things for Scotland. And if we're doing anything for Scotland, it has to be a model for other villages to follow. And such is our reunion. Because as far as Jeff's been telling me, he's getting calls from all over Dominica. People are calling him, they want advice from him as to how to do the reunion. So that just tells you we've done a great job. So in putting everything together, I think the people of Scotland have realized, look, these guys are here for the betterment of Scotland. It's not as political as we were thinking, because everybody thought, oh, Jeff is this, Ivo is that, Irvin is that, Uncle Mike is this. They're just politicking. No. Like I said, although we have our own political allegiance, But when it comes for the overall good of Scottsdale, we've put politics aside, and we don't want politicians to influence what we are doing. Let's do it for Scottsdale. We are from Scottsdale. Let's do what we're doing for Scottsdale. I mean, I don't mind the pilot, you know, I mean, we'll invite her to certain things, but when it comes for the overall being of Scottsdale, we, the committee members, we're gonna take care of that. And that's what we've started doing. And so far it has borne fruit. You know, everyone is one voice. Hey, garçon, ça se fait ça bon bagay. C'est de se fait ça tous les années. Moi, juste dire, nous fait tous les mois.
Yeah, it did. I guess it was the people enjoyed it so much, huh? But Ivan, can you go and Jeff go into a little more detail as to some of the activities that you guys undertook at that reunion level?
Well, you know, to start off or to kick off the reunion, we have this this welcoming night, if you want to say that, from day one. We had a host of activities, but most notably was the invitation granted to Dr. Honeychurch. And he gave us a great history of Scottsdale, things I didn't know at all. I'm so embarrassed to say that, but I was still a kid when those things occur. But as a matter of fact, what we learned from Dr. Honeychurch was that the first peoples of Dominica, the Kalinago, when they set foot on Dominica, it was in Scottsdale. They came from the south, from Martinique and all these places. They first landed in Scottsdale. The first mode of air transportation, which was a plane, that took place in Scottsdale. The goose state, to call it. Yeah, the seaplane. I mean, so we've learned a lot from Dr. Honeychurch, and also, you know, the people themselves. Some of the younger people, you know, they learned quite a lot from Dr. Honeychurch, and with that knowledge, we are moving forward to further develop Scottsdale, to make Scottsdale the most welcoming place, the most visited place in Dominica, because we have the potential. We have the potential.
By any chance, Ivan, did Mr. Honeychurch touched on the situation of the man who was beheaded named Scott, and his head was displayed in your village?
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm going to pass it on to Jeff. Jeff will say it much more eloquently.
Very well, very well. That is a story in and out of itself.
So I'll let my respected friend Jeff handle that part of it.
Well, let me say that the event was really good, and then the ceremony began with that with Dr. Lennox Honeychurch. So you know we all been fooled about Mr. Scott was cut in the head, and all of that stuff. It turns out to be, yes, the head of the British guy was Scott. So what happened is that the way this story about Kashaku and they broke his neck, according to Dr. Lennox Honeychurch, don't be fooled about that. That's really a story being told from one of those if you like you know, like one of those old stories people share. Kind of like don't eat pineapple at night because
them fairy tales then.
It's one of those fairy tale things. That's the correct word. So really
watch this.
yeah, so nothing like that happened. How Scottsdale got his name was very unique, according to Dr. Honeychurch. You know, like the head, the way the penis and everything was shaped up and stuff like that. So then there was a name for it, and that's where the name Kashaku comes in. And so this thing about Mr. Scott was beheaded, according to Dr. Lennox Honeychurch, that's a fairy tale. But indeed the British man Scott was there, but it wasn't cut in the head and all of that. Is because when they first get it, that was the first place they got it, and there it came. The word Scott said has a Kalinago name. It means Kashaku. So this is really what it gets its name. So that's kind of how that is, and I think it's a great thing to watch. We have it documented, I think, on our Facebook page, Region Committee, and we should probably have that played, and people can learn that.
But Jeff, not tripping you. Do you know that is documented in some of our history books about that man's head being displayed in your community?
It is quite interesting. So that's why it is, because actually I learned that in school myself. It is documented somewhere. So that was interesting, and this is why I said, Dr. Lonichi, we need to have a talk about this because we need to re-educate people about that. And I'm actually thinking writing a book about Scott said and all the fairy tales actually about that because that is quite interesting. But the amazing thing about Scott said, as Dr. Lonichi mentioned, that a lot of people have been do this, but the mail used to come in Soufriere Bay. And then that place was blooming with the seaplane flying from Dominica to Barbados and all of that. So that was good that what we know that. But to your question earlier, Alvin, with the achievement and activities, I think the bus stop was a big hit. We get that accomplished. We had really a great time. Where we bought domino competitions and we had a big bingo night. People turned out for that. We actually had a trip to the Kalinago territory. It was well attended and that was very good. So we went there to learn about them. We had the village festival. The St. Peter's Feast was part of the union committee thing, and the power rep and the village council. We all worked together on that. That was well attended. Unfortunately, we had a tropical depression was in the area for that Saturday night where we were supposed to have Sakis Cabo, so that didn't happen, and then result of canceling the walk to Galion. But then we had the corner the following evening, and unfortunately, Midnight Groovers bassman was ill, so he wasn't able to perform. They were not able to perform. But we had Dr. Miguel Labadie and Ecstasy Band, which filled in the gap. And then that was very well attended and so on. And then the closing ceremony last Sunday around this time was really good. And the beauty about it, I think the highlight was, despite the difficulty, the challenges in the beginning we had, with this group coming together, I must say that I was impressed. At the closing ceremony, people like Muslim John Wiss will receive an award. Hazel Packett, former national cricketer and national captain team. And some of these other people receive award. But it was very impressive to see like the power when she came up. That was the only event she attended. But when she came out here, whether she meant it or not, made it clear to the people who were thinking politically. She really commended the reunion committee right off the bat and saying a job well done, and was really impressed with her speech, whether she meant it or not, with what we were able to accomplish. And at the end of it, what was good about it is that what we've been telling people, she tell a story for us. And that is, this group was not political. This group was doing what is best for the community. And even if she came on late, what happened was that we were able to win the battle of bringing everybody together. And as I wear this T-shirt about connecting the past with the future with the present for better future, what we noticed was that people felt connected. People realized this organization, the Reunion Committee, was not there to put any political hindrance or any differences in the community, but to bring people together. And that bus stop, when we cut that ribbon between the power rep and myself, we cut that ribbon together. And at the end, I held her hands. And we went up and I shouted, together we can make a difference in this community, and hug each other. And what that meant a lot to me was to show those people who are very politically minded that while they are fighting for politicians or people with intent to win political activities, the politicians are born to do. And they need to realize that they need to stop that because they are just hurting themselves. They're not doing anything good for themselves, for the family, for the community. And I'm glad that happened because all along, as Ivan said, that we've been telling you, the people, that our goal is to bring people together. As far as reunion together with the question Alvin asked, there was a reunion a few years back, about 10 years ago or so. And then I was actually one of the person to give an award. But it wasn't, although it was Super Squats at Ghana, it wasn't as grand as what we did. And Lofty and Mr. Thomas, if we had the support from the beginning, from the full council, the support from the beginning for the member of parliament, the support, people not thinking political, this reunion would even be much bigger. As a matter of fact, Cassie Bruce Lapland, they're in the reunion, they reached out to me, asked me, how did you guys do it? How did you guys do it? Because they want to understand how we were able to do this without the help of power rep or government or politician. Because in Dominica, unfortunately, anytime something is being done, you have to hear the power rep or a politician of a political party is the one behind it. We did not want that in what we did. We didn't want any political thing. And at the end, we were able to accomplish this goal. And I'm grateful to hear that the council, the power rep, all of them, able not to tell us they are full speed ahead with us in support for the next years by God's grace to make this Soufriere reunion bigger in incorporating Galileo and Scott said in it. And to me, that's the difference. And that's why I started this program right away, firing out and tell people of Dominica. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter which political you belong to. If you can put your political differences aside and do what is best for your community, you will succeed. And the people on the ground, Cheryl Adams, Ziggs Adams, Celia Tavernier, Mr. Julius Brown, Selwyn John Lewis, Valina John Lewis, those guys on the ground, the deputy chairman of the village council, Mr. Mitchell, they took a lot of heat. They took a lot of blows and they stood up for what was right. And Lofty, I'll make this public for the first time. Most of the people on the committee, especially those on the ground, they were supporters of the DLP. And they did not let this political thing hinder them. They believed in what we were doing. We were able to break that silence. And these people were able to come together. And even the chairman of the council, shame on him, never really tried to come to the function, say all kind of negative thing about it. But he had a bar. He benefited from it. And you know what's beautiful about this? We are showing these people, we don't care what you think of your political nonsense. We don't care what you try to do. You are not going to stop progress for what is right, for Scott said. And anybody listening to me right now, I will say to you, forget about money. If you're doing the right thing for your country, for your community, you will succeed. And the problem in Dominica, I'll take it a step further. The problem in Dominica is this lack of leadership. We see it in government. We see it in the private sector. We are seeing it in social events. We are seeing it on the radio. We have a serious lack of leadership issue in Dominica. And that's why I'm calling on government to invest in the youth development division for the skills training program, like the leadership skills studies program. And if you're a graduate student from the leadership skills training program, don't get that certificate to put at your home. Get involved in your community. Get involved in the village council. Form a youth group, because don't say we lack of leadership. And if you have leadership skills, you hide it in your closet. Bring it out to the community. People are hungry for leadership. And we in Scotland are saying the time is now for us to put our political differences aside. Let's work together for the betterment of community, and together we can go places. And I know that bus stop is a great example. And Lofty, just to tell you, even that day of the village festival, I happened to have an announcement in church, and in the presence of the Prime Minister of Dominica, I made it clear to him with my parrot sitting there as well, that our goal to enhance project in Scotland, that I let him know we will need a check to build bathrooms in Scotland for the vendors in that area. And I hope he take it seriously, because we know July is this, the budget is this month. We will write to ensure, and we will not stop until we get a public convenience for Scotland to build those mini libraries to elevate the life of the people. And we want to do this in a non-political fashion. Do it for what is best for your community. So we believe that we have a product that we can really advertise to get people to come to. And anybody in Dominica, don't be afraid to step up, because you'll be criticized the first 2 steps, but after that, when they see the progress you're making, they will come on board. So that's very important.
Fiery Jeff indeed. Jeff, whenever you open your mouth, people listen. And so I want to thank you very much for sort of recapping, as it was, some of the events that went on, and what you guys have on the way in terms of development for your community, Scott said, Galileo and Soufriere. I think I asked Brother Ivan that in private, but Jeff, just put it on the record. Ivan, put it on the record. Why did you guys at this time left off Galileo and Soufriere in that reunion type of activity?
Well, we did not leave Soufriere and Galileo and even our friends at Pity Bagatelle. As I explained, this was supposed to be like a little family reunion. Okay. And then we decided to do something for Scotland. But what we did, that's why we invited the village council, the Soufriere Scotland Galileo Village Council. That's why we invited the member of parliament for the area. And when we had the first meeting at the village council when I was on Ireland, there were 2 people from Soufriere asked the question what we do. We would explain to them. Lofty, we have to be fair with ourselves. Something like this did not have a lot of time for planning to do it. And we were determined, Scott said, was not going to be left behind. We're going to do something. Okay. There's a huge rivalry between Soufriere and Scott said. When you do these events, one of the problems you're going to face is this: who is going to get the Cornish land? Who is going to get the Lapo Cabbage jump up ban?
Okay.
Who is going to get the funds to do what? And that's a
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
That's why when we tried to do the reunion about 4 years ago, these were the obstacles in the way. And then the one individual tried to bring the politicians in this, but it didn't work.
Okay.
What the people of Suffolk, complimenting them for, and the people of Ghana, specifically the deputy chairman of the council, Mr. Mitchell, is that they realize quickly what we are doing for Scotland is a trial to show people it can happen. And they all came on board and give the people of Suffolk a lot of credit. You know, people like Mr. Tavernier, people like Miriam Lewis, and all the others in Suffolk and Wilbur and those guys. They understood what we were doing. And now they realize, oh yes, it's a good idea. We did Scott set first. And then the bigger picture, because we could have said 8 years or 10 years every union, 5 years, 10 years. We said, no, in 2 years, we are going to have a bigger reunion for Soufriere, focus on Soufriere, and we can incorporate Gallion and Scott set. And we in the reunion committee, we want to work with them to do it. So it was not intention like they will be removed from it. They were part of it. But the beginning, because of the political drama and all of that, when people realized quickly, the idea was to make Scott said a pilot project. Because Scott said it has a magnet to put people on a Sunday. You have a low population. The bars already on the village. You already have a lot of things in place. So it was a seamless thing to do. So that is the reason this happened.
Okay, cool. Alvin, just before you come in there, let me just ask Jeff that question before I forget. Jeff, we have a problem in Dominica where the proper disposal of garbage is concerned. When you guys on the ground, is that a problem that you guys saw on the ground? And if so, what are you guys prepared to help do about that situation?
Lofty, that's a big concern. And, you know, especially in the Scottsdale area, unfortunately, where the national trail start in the Savannah area, that's a dump site. Unfortunately, there were some new houses built, you know, by the government, give to people. And I really do not know the whole story about it, but to my attention that people lived there said there was no meeting held with the people with the homes already there. I think if that is the case, that's a shame. That's unfortunate. They should have a meeting with the people before they build homes, let them know what they are doing, what is the plan, and so on. And the people could explain the garbage situation. I have an Airbnb in that area myself, and there's a serious garbage problem. Just yesterday, I spoke to the gentleman right here, Ivan Nicholas, about the plan we have. And I think that we're going to look at the southern area as a model. One of the things we're looking at doing is get to work with the people and this new people area to work. And we want to invite everybody, the village council, the member of parliament, and everybody. That's how we do things. If they don't come on board, they're not going to stop us. We are going to go ahead and get a system in place like the US, where all the houses, especially the 21 homes that was built during the regional charge government there, and incorporate the rest of the government of the houses there that built, to every house have a house number, and every house is going to get a trash can. And that trash can, we're gonna organize it in a way that we can have pickup twice a week. And if we cannot get truck from the government to deal with that situation, to help with it, we have no choice but to go on ourselves to raise resources. We have people trucked and dumpers in Scottsdale area, Suffolk area, help them to put funds together to get that taken care of. We are also looking at another project which I do not want to talk about on air yet, because there are some people they think they're the greatest idea, but there's still people out there to do it and they fail it. So we have some great ideas for that garbage situation. And let me tell you this, garbage is a serious matter. American Airlines just announced that very soon, I think in December of this year, God's willing, they are going to have 2 daily flights in the winter to Dominica. Dominica is a top destination. And if we cannot take care of our garbage, we're going to get a serious backlash. We need to take care of that situation. And there's no reason why we cannot manage this garbage situation. I think we need to do better as a people. We can do better as a people, but we need to think clearly to take out the political mindset of it. And if you are a leader and you don't want to take criticism, if you are a leader and you don't want to learn from others, if you are a leader and you don't want to take advice from people who are facing the challenges, you should not be in any leadership role. You should resign immediately and let the people that want to do the work, let them do it. That's it.
Well, I know Ivan will come in a minute, but I'm really happy that Lofty raised that issue.
Yes.
As you know, Jeff, in conversation with you and others, this garbage thing is a crisis.
Oh my goodness.
It's a health crisis. It's a hazard. It's a public health crisis. And for the life of me, I don't understand why communities around the country are not seeing this thing more seriously than that. It's a health crisis. I mean, the kind of pictures I see on social media showing in different communities, the pile and pile and pile and pile of garbage. It is something that while some of us might think, well, it's none of my business. My home is far away from it. I'm not living anywhere close to that. I'm saying to them that it is a crisis because rats don't determine where their boundaries, you know. Flies don't determine where the boundaries are. Mosquitoes don't determine those boundaries.
So according to Jeff, rat's home doesn't have a number then.
Exactly. You know, so when the rat decide, you know, I'm living Lofty and I'm going to visit Alvin, you know, there's no way Lofty, hey, rat don't come here, you know. Eventually the rat will find your home. So it's a serious crisis. And I'm really glad that you guys are going to take the initiative. And I think that is what it boils down to, is to what extent we as individuals begins with us. Like John F. Kennedy had said, ask not what my country can do for me, but what I can do for my country. But one of the questions, I know we coming down, we've gone a little past our time zone. But one of the questions
we'll sort of about 8:45 because we really robbed these guys some of their time initially. Yes.
I know Jeff, and to some extent you, Ivan, have been pretty much involved in youth activities. Jeff was part of the youth council. To what extent young people were involved in that planning or involved in the activities or showed their face? Because at the end of the day, as Jeff, you and Ivan know, we have to get our young people engaged and involved. So to what extent were young persons in Scottsdale area got involved in the activities, and how moving forward do you see keeping them engaged? Ivan, you might want to respond.
Okay. Yeah. Just to comment a little bit on the garbage situation.
Sure.
It was so depressing, so disappointing to see the amount of garbage. From the time you pass Point Michel, well, in the heart of Point Michel, oh, it's despicable. I mean, come on. And if our government cannot take care of its garbage, you are putting the entire citizenry at risk. And that's what's been happening. People have been dying from leptospirosis and all that kind of stuff. So in our village of Scottsdale, it was no different. You know, you see garbage piles packed up, especially where the bus stop is located right now. You know, just adjacent to it, I would say about 100 feet to the right of that. You know, piles of garbage. And it was so disappointing. Because here it is, we are promoting our village as one of the best sites in Dominica, our laboratory, you know, the peninsula, it's a great place, you know, iconic place. And to get to that laboratory, you have to pass through piles of garbage. This is not encouraging.
I know.
This is not encouraging. It's crazy how you as a government cannot take care of your garbage, man. If you can't take care of your garbage, you can't take care of your people, you know? So there's a whole lot of incompetence taking place there, you know? But as we have decided with the committee, we're going to put things in place. You know, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but, you know, we will overcome sometime. You know, our committee has put things in place, you know, and we've realized that the young people are now changing their mindset because I don't know if they were indoctrinated whereby they were saying, but when we told them what our motives are, what we are here for, they are beginning to soften their stance a little bit and they are beginning to listen. For the matter of fact, one young person said to us, you know what I mean? That's to show you the momentum, the traction.
And I looked at the church service that you guys had and I saw a young man, 14 years old, got an award for being the youngest fisherman. So that I think was a motivation.
And ironically, is that this very young man, he is soon to be called up under the under 15 cricket team in Scotland.
Wow.
You know, So we have decided that another initiative is that we're going to ensure that our young people have a chance to represent their country in the sport of cricket. My good friend and also my nephew, Uncle Mike, Jeff always spearheads the initiative. So Jeff is always there. Our good friend as well, once Dominica captain, Hazel Packet, we've decided we're going to put this committee together to resuscitate cricket in Soufriere, Scotland, because at one point, Soufriere was the mecca of cricket, the Brooklyn area, and it was so disappointing to see that cricket is no longer in Soufriere. For the matter of fact, a few years ago, I've decided that I'm going to provide a few, some cricket gear to some youngster in Scotland school. They told me there was no cricket there. I decided, let me try Soufriere school. The headmaster said to me, man, sadly, we have no cricket in Soufriere. So my next option was to give it to my alma mater, SMA.
Yes. We got to talk, Ivan. I tell you, we got to talk. So we need to talk.
Yeah, Cuthbert Elwin was the principal at that time. May his soul rest in peace. So we've decided that we are going to bring the young people on board. For the matter of fact, Scott said, since we do not have a cricket field in Scotland, we always play our cricket on the street. So we had several street cricket games throughout our reunion, and the amount of talent I saw. For the matter of fact, this young man who received the fishing award, he too received, some recognition. But I was speaking to him privately, and he said to me, man, I really, really want to improve on my cricket. I need boots, I need pads, I need gloves, and all that kind of stuff. So we've decided, we're going to take care of this guy, and not just him. We're going to rebuild a cricket team in Scotland. Get the young people. There's a lot of talent out there, and we recognize that, So we decided we are going to pursue that, ensure that Scott said, and not only in cricket and fishing, dominoes. Some of our young guys just won a big competition this morning. They participated in a tournament with Barbados and all those guys, and those guys won that championship. So there is a lot of talent in Scotland, and we, the committee members, we realize that, so we're going to tap into that to ensure that Scotland remains vibrant. So there's a lot we have looking forward. We are indeed committed and dedicated to ensure that our youth, but we are also calling on the government to provide an incentive for jobs. Jobs. I mean, with all that we talked about, without a job, hey, it's like you're doomed. I remember when I was a young man, as soon as I left SMA, I got a job. You have a little girlfriend you want to impress, you want to take her out for ice cream, but without a job, you can't do those kind of things. So we're asking the government, especially our power rep, work with us, create the environment for jobs so that all people could be vibrant again, especially our young people. So that's what we're working on. And we've realized that these young people, they're enthusiastic, they're looking forward to good things, and with we being the if you want to say guidance, if you will, they're willing to come on board, and that's what we've decided we're going to do for
Absolutely. Jeff, you want to make a comment on that, Jeff? The young people, I know that's dear to your heart as well. You're muted. You're mute. Unmute.
The thing here is that when you look at youth development, and Lofty can tell you, like we go way back with this, and there's a lot of talent in Scotland. So one other thing is the challenge is on the ground. We could be overseas. We could send money. We could send everything. But if you don't have the people on the ground, they don't have that mentor. They don't have that leader.
And the logistics.
You're going to have problems. So that's why I'm Dominica all the time. And that's why when we go back and whilst we're doing these people, we want to look at, see what we can take. And if we can establish the cricket group, they have leader, they have a captain, they have a manager, whatever. We can send these guests to them. We can work with them and help them. The Rounders group in Scotland need to be complemented. That is the longest standing active group in Scotland, Team Matador. And, I want the groups to work with them to see how they do it. And that's a great group. They put things together. But our young people challenge is that mentorship. That's what they don't have. If we can give them we can find someone on the ground, train them, give them that mentorship. That's what they need. And it doesn't take much, because within 10 days, less than 10 days, what we were able to accomplish down there with the young people demonstrated to me that the talent is there, the mind is there, they don't have the support. And that's why that I'm very happy with the way the ceremony ended, and the power came aboard and recognizing we're there to work with her to make a job easier. We are not there, we don't want them to see us as a threat to them. We want them to see us as an organization that works to develop young people, to develop a community, to raise the awareness of how we can do better as a country. And this is what we want to do. And this is what our goal is. And I want to reassure the young people of Scottsdale that if we can give them a bat and a ball and they can go and play cricket, they will be okay. I think it was Eugenia Charles that said, if I give you land and you dig hole, I will give you banana plants. If you grow these banana plants, I will get you a market. And that's the same model the Reunion Committee is using. We came down there, we established this organization, we saw the people, we gave them the gears. Now they have to follow up. Because as Lofty said earlier, you cannot really just give a man fish. You have to teach him how to fish. And this is the mentality we're trying to establish in the mindset of our young people. Those who recognize that they're fine. But we need to make people understand that government cannot do everything for you. After all, okay, the government cannot give you a house, expect them to give you a fridge, expect them to give you that. Well, the government help you get a house. Try to help yourself. Instead, try to work with the government to see how you can get a certificate of title. Because that certificate of title, you can now take a loan to send your children to grad school or get a boat or something. So it's the mindset we have to change to make people understand why it is important to be independent. Because when you're an independent person, when you're able to work things and do things on your own, you have gained power. You have become very powerful. But if you have to depend every time Alvin Thomas have to send you 20 US, you at some point, bon Dieu, Alvin Thomas have somebody else to help. At some point, bon Dieu, Alvin Thomas is going to be saying, but all this time I've been sending $20 for you. What have you been doing with it? And this is what we're trying to understand.
Jeff, just take up. Jeff, that line you just uttered there, it resonated with me. And just bear with me. You see that give me $20 or hand me $20 mentality? You see that mentality, Jeff?
Yes.
That is one of the mentalities that have killed and continue to kill the psyche and our youth, primarily in Dominica.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, the young people of Dominica primarily, some adults inclusive, yes, included as well. Over the past 20 years, Jeff, of this Labour Party government, whereby, as you rightly alluded to earlier, what the dame said then, I give you land, you dig holes, I give you the plants, and so forth and so forth. You can see she was a thinking prime minister. She wanted to help her people to develop themselves.
Yeah.
Under this Roosevelt Skerritt administration, and that is where it gets very touchy with me, and I will not let it pass. It is this sort of mentality that, hey, give me, give me, give me. And everything that happens in the country, Jeff, Ivan, it is that it is encompassing around that. And so the young people in particular, they are saddled with that kind of a mentality whereby learning to work, learning to fend for themselves, learning to do things, learning a skill, getting a job opportunity, it is not there. It is my pal rep. I will go to my pal rep for a $10 or $20 to pay a light bill, to pay a medical bill, to do something. And then I am satisfied for the moment. And so, Jeff, I am praying, I am hoping to see one day the back of this government so that other people, other leaders, as you call them, visionary leaders, can take hold of this country, my brother, and put the country to work I am not saying, Jeff, people in this country, some people will not fall in the cracks and will not need help. But if you see the amount of people, the caliber, the type of people that are depending on government.
My goodness.
People who have jobs, Jeff. Some people who works in ministry. They have homes given to them by the government. Some people, Jeff, who bank on the government to buy sanitary pads. Women, that is. I'm telling you, that is the crux of the matter. You heard Melissa uttered words to that effect the other day. What did she say? And it saddens me as a citizen of this country, Jeff, to see my country continue to wallow in that kind of mentality whereby the citizenry of this country, they are not wising up quick enough to understand what they have had and continue to have on their backs as it relates to the sort of governance, malgovernance that we had. Jeff, I can tell you straight off, I know the government is there. And so we should sort of interact, engage with them as to things that needs to be done. But you see that initiative you guys have taken in Scott said, my brother, that is a model that needs to be emulated. And I thank you guys for that. You guys are not just talkers, as Ivan said, you are doers. It is that kind of an action-oriented mindset now that we need for people's action to be upfront. And so that the government of the day, Jeff, they are not working for us, the people. They are not. And when you talked about that $20 mentality, that is the reality of the situation, Jeff. Jeff, I know at least one woman, when I meet her, she's waiting for plywood, posts, galvanized, and whatever it is to build from 2009. Election campaign gimmick.
Wow.
I know another young lady who is waiting on her parlor rep to assist her with buying a transport from 2014, my brother. And so you rightly said it, the mindset of the people needs that shifting, that 180-degree shifting, that total, how I should call it, washing, that kenosis, that clean out from inside out. That is what we need in the country, my brother.
Well,
it is really sick. It is really sad where we are as a people. And I can tell you, Jeff, this government, from captain down to cook, they have not done it. They cannot do it. In my mind, they have peaked, they have plateaued. They can do no more. So appealing to them, it is like trying to grab wind. And I say no more, I rest.
Right. Well, I mean, Lofty, I hear your comment. And, like they say, when the kitchen feels the heat on the ground. So I would take it that you have a good perspective of what's happening on the ground. But I will say though that
Alvin, he who is in the kitchen feels the heat, and that is very true. Alvin, I am afraid to come out of my house on a daily basis.
Yes.
Every other body I meet, they want a $5.
Right.
They want a $10.
Right. Well,
they want something.
Yeah.
I am afraid to go to Roseau. I am afraid to walk in the community, Alvin. I'm telling you.
No, I understand.
The jobs are not there. The people don't want to work because the environment has not been made of it. Yeah. And it is just a sordid mess.
Well, yeah, I understand. And that's why I said heat the kitchen feels the heat. And therefore, I can't take issue to your comments. And I feel your pain. And earlier on, you raised the question about the garbage. And both Ivan and Jeff lamented the fact. I mean, I recently saw some pictures on Facebook. And quite frankly, I asked you the question. I say, is that an AI generated picture? Because in those days of technology, people can do a lot of things to give the place a bad name. So first question I asked was, is that AI generated? Or is that for real? And
That's
then
real.
another person from Dominica, a good reputable, someone I can believe in, sent me the thing and she said, no, Alvin, it is for real. I said, for real? I mean, is that across the country? She said, well, she can't say for sure 100%, but she know in her area in Goodwill where she is, it is prevalent.
Yeah.
Pictures I saw was Point Michelle and somewhere else. And then you sent me a picture today with Fonkole or Glasgow area. So that's a big issue. But I'm pleased to learn from what Ivan and Jeff have said, that in terms of the activities that took place, really, Scott said, and reference to this young man, that there is hope. I am one that believes that there is hope. The first program we had, the first segment rather of this program, we had this young lady from Botswana who got infected with HIV back in 2015, and the positive outlook that she has and what she's doing. So I believe there is hope, and like Jeff said and Ivan, if we can get a mindset change around the young people, and Sufria and Scott said can be a model, it is my hope that we can do something about it. And when people see something is happening, some change is happening at that local level, they will take the matters into their hand and call for that change. What happens is that leadership emerges. So of Ivan and Jeff, we have to be prepared for other things, bigger things, because people are going to say, well, hey, Jeff, Ivan, no Wesley or at Marigot or at Cassie Bruce or at Lampley, you know. That's a vanilla heading of issues, you know. I mean, one other area that, and I guess we're going to have to bring you guys back, because I want to explore a little more the potential that Ivan spoke about in Scott said. And we know Scott said is a big fishing village. It's not in organized as we would like it, but even now as we speak, you have fishermen that go out and bring in fish, because again, I said I looked at the Sunday mass and I learned that there was a guy who brought in a fish that weighed 600 pounds. I said, my God, how did this guy brought that fish in? 600 pounds is a lot of pounds. That's a lot of fish, Lofty.
Yeah.
So this,
yeah, but he did not make $85,000 that day. I can tell you that.
Well, yeah, I know. But there is still a lot of fish
Jeff
in
is,
the
Jeff
street
is 45, huh?
to be
Not 85,
pulled in.
45,000.
45,000. There's still a lot of fish to be pulled in.
Yes.
And how do we harness that opportunity that Ivan asked that is needed by way of job creation? So that's an area we would need to explore. But again, I just want to compliment you guys for the work that you've done on the ground, for the advocacy and what you have done. It is worth commending. And I think it should be encouraged and it should be expanded. And it's my hope that when you guys come back a year from now or 2 years from now, we can have the tri-community of Scott said, Sufri and Gallion. And have that. Let me know well in advance so I can be a part. I can be done to get some of that good time, that bon time.
Oh yeah, bon time.
All right. Alvin, thank you very much for your closing comments as it were. Guys, I know there's much more we can say, but in the interest of time, we sort of stretched our listenership attention tonight, so we don't want to overstretch it. And so we have to bring the curtains down as it were on things. So let me just hear you guys closing or parting comments.
Well, Lofty, it was indeed a pleasure extending this invitation to us. I thank you very much. It was indeed an experience. I want to thank the listenership, you know, folks with the feedbacks and questions and stuff like that. Like I said, you know, our group, our committee in Scottsdale was formed for the upliftment of Scottsdale, for the general well-being of Scottsdale. Whatever is taking place in Scottsdale, as long as it's for the general well-being, we are for it. And we are not going to cherry pick like some of the people may do. Oh, I'll only give to labor people and not workers people or not PAR people. Papi people or whoever people. We don't want that for Scottsdale. We want the overall community to benefit from whatever is taking place, whatever Scottsdale has to offer. And that's our focus, and that's what we are prepared to do. So the people of Scottsdale, I want to tell them, keep hope alive. The committee is here to stay. We have plans for the future in terms of garbage disposal, in terms of the bathroom we're talking about. We want to make our village the envy of all other villages. You know, Kashaku, Selano Soti, you know what I mean? So we want to just tell our people from Scottsdale, keep the hope alive. Our reunion was a big success, and we are planning to do this in the next 2 years for the entire parish of St. Mark. So Lofty, once again, thank you very much for having me.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Jeff.
Well, thanks, Lofty, for your hospitality on Irving. Mr. Thomas, it's always a pleasure to be here. And as I've said, our goal is to really break that political barrier. We don't see red, we don't see green, we don't see blue or any color. What we see is Dominica. And the Scottsdale Reunion Committee, St. Mark Parish, is going to ensure that we continue to work together for the betterment of the people. Let's put the political thing aside. And if you're a young person today who believe that someone has to give you $20 to survive, you're fooling yourself. Because at some point, that $20 will not be available when you most need it. My advice to you is look at potentials. We have a lot of opportunities in Dominica. We have a lot of what's so-called government land. Consider industry like this young man. I gave a few plants. I gave a few seed. And today, Lofty, this gentleman is on the roadside selling vegetable plants. I had the opportunity to see him, to meet with him. And this gentleman has hired one person. That's a job. That's a guy who was simply asking me to help him with something. And we get him some seeds. Today, he has a nursery where he's selling vegetables. And today, he has hired one more person. Okay? And this guy, his parents got his paper for him to go to St. Croix. And he's resisting going because he started something that is doing well. So it's one person at a time. If you're listening to me right now, a young person, that $20 might make you happy for a few seconds. But look at what you can do. Think of something. Even if you have a friend who have a truck, go around the garbage problem. Pick up these garbages. Make people give you $10, $20 per head. You can get the garbage. Get it to waste management. That's the way you can make money. Dominica has so many ways to make money. But we need to change that mindset of this dependency syndrome. Let's collectively work for the benefit of our community. And if we can do that, we'll have a different place. I'm really hoping one day, Lofty, that all these young people and all this talent we have will take some time to stop and to think. And I feel one of the things we need to do in Dominica, we need to have what we call a sober month in Dominica. No CO, no Bion, no drinking alcohol, no smoking, just a sober month in Dominica. And I think if we can do that, I feel we need to take the opportunity during Lent, when the Catholic Church and all the other churches have Lent, that people will give up things. That, we should put, maybe your organization can look at that. And if I need to put funds together to do it, let's have a national sober month in Dominica. No alcohol, no cigarette, no marijuana, nothing. Let's have a sober month. And if we can do that, maybe people can come to their senses. Again, it's always a pleasure. And thank you very much for the opportunity.
Well,
go ahead, Alvin.
No, well, I think well said. Let me, on behalf of Civic Vibes, thank both Jeff and Ivan for sharing that their knowledge with us and what they were able to achieve out of the Scottsdale reunion. As I said, Jeff and I go way back, and I know he's a man of action. He's a man of words, but he's also a man of action. And Ivan, it's a pleasure to reconnect with you as a SMA alma mater. Jeff will share with you my number, and I will be in touch with you after the program. But really, it's a pleasure to have you guys. I'm really pleased with what you guys are doing. I do this program every Sunday, and Lofty and I do this program. And the reason why I do it is because I'm so in love with Dominica.
Yeah.
I'm in Atlanta physically, my body physically in Atlanta, but my spirit is in Dominica.
Oh yeah.
And I think of my country, and sometimes people may misconstrue what Lofty has said as a man on the ground, and some of the comments that I made as being anti this and anti that. But it is the furthest thing I mean, I love this country they call Dominica. I see a lot of potential in Dominica. I see a lot of potential in our young people. And I'm one of those that will never give up on them. So I commend you guys. We're here to support you guys, and we'll be calling on you guys again, because from what you've said, there's some projects that you have in mind. There's some things you want to do. The garbage issue is a major issue. And we'll call you guys again where we can have some conversation in how we can move forward to develop our country, community by community. As Jeff said, one person at a time, one community at a time, one village at a time, and the entire country eventually. So thank you guys, and continue to have a great week.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you, Lofty. All the best.
You're welcome.
Living in the positive.
Yes, folks, living in the positive. That is how we want to end tonight, on a positive note. And who's better than Nasir Fontaine, our very own?
Living in the positive. What you do, let not your hearts be troubled. Wipe away your tears and fears. Cause I know love, we conquer evil.
So that is it for us, yes, at Civic Vibes for yet another Sunday.
Yes, night.
To all of you who stayed the course with us tonight, thank you very much for your eyes and ears each and every time, like I normally say. What a packed 3-hour program tonight, huh?
If you're not done, my chances are slim. Your time, my hopes are so.
You know, it was a little stretch tonight for an extra hour.
And I know good, we conquer evil.
And so we apologize
But
the information that was dispensed tonight was much needed and much appreciated. So on behalf of the Civic Vibes team and all of you guys out there, we want to say thank you very much to our very first guest tonight. That is Miss Ona from Botswana, Africa. Did an excellent job in the first hour and a half thereabout. Basically retelling or reliving her life story thus far. And so, Miss Ona, thank you very much, my friend. See you some other time as we try to engage you on another conversation. To all my IVLP folks up at this time, that is across the globe, that is. Much appreciated, much love to all of you. And yes, to Brother Ivan, Brother Jeff, the second segment was just as powerful indeed. As positivity is all we want for our country. So folks, that is it for Alvin and I, 9 o'clock on the dot, on the button. And so on that note, see you guys same time, same place next week if the good Lord above is willing. Bye-bye, we love you.
Positive, oh Lord, Lord, living, yeah, and we're living in the positive. From day to day, John Milkaway, and we're living in the positive. It's nothing and it's tough, yeah, it's so rough, and then we're living in the positive.